This is a big one. Bay Blazers and the Atlanta Fire. Bay Blazers winning the toss in this, the last game of the group stages. And look at this. Look at Group A. Second team from the top, Atlanta Fire. Third team from the top, Bay Blazers. Each of these teams is tied on 4 points. And that, ladies and gentlemen, makes this game a virtual quarterfinal, because the winner of this game gets to stay in the number 2 position, and it is the last game of the group stages, and it is the top 2 teams in each group who go through to the semifinals, which means, again, that this is a virtual quarterfinal. Winner go home, if you will. So Bay Blazers winning the toss and wanting to do what they do best, start quickly at the top. Captain of the Bay Blazers, Saideep Ganesh, calling correctly. And in fact, his team will be leading from the front. It looks like it's going to be the opening pair taking their way here. You're going to look out very especially for Suleiman Arabzai, who's batted very heavily in this match. Also look out for Hizbullah Durrani. My apologies. That is Hussein Bukhari. So the 2 openers, Hussein Bukhari and Suleiman Arabzai, you're looking for a quick start from them. And what you're also looking for is to see whether or not the Atlanta Fire can negate the quick start that you've essentially seen from this opening pair of the Bay Blazers, because the better they are at restricting the opening pair or the top order, then the better your team is with a chance of winning, because the Bay Blazers bat very well at the top, but they have shown that if you get into the middle order more quickly than they would like, then they're not quite as effective. And so you're looking to do that by asking the man who led all associate teams and for the large part of the World Cup, all countries in the World Cup in wickets, Shadley Van Skokvik. New ball in hand. Bukhari on strike. Here we go. Played back to the bowler himself. Doesn't field it cleanly. So the first run is underway here. Once again, this is a virtual quarterfinal. The team that wins this match will go on to play in the semifinals tomorrow morning. It will be, it's to be determined who they'll play against. But the team that loses this game essentially is done. Well, not essentially, they would be done, because there are no more games in the group stages after this. So essentially it's win or go home, if you will. So Shadley Van Skokvik with the new ball in hand. There he is in the center of your screen. Will want to hit the ground running and will want to be as restrictive and as effective as he is. See exactly what you get done here. This is played through the offside. A couple of runs at least. Don't think it will make it all the way to the boundary. Obas Pinar is the man who is after it. You saw Obas Pinar, obviously a tremendous cricketer in his own right. You'll see him with the ball later on, you would think. Left arm orthodox, and he's a really competent middle order bat. And so for the most part, you're going to see a really high stakes game here. The game this morning did not have a whole lot of intrigue. Team that batted first, the Space City Cowboys, got off to a fast start and dominated. But for the most part, that game lost all the intensity. Well, this game is going to be the opposite of that. Once again, it's a win or go home scenario, because the teams are tied at 4 points apiece. Numbers 2 and 3 in the position in the standings in the group. That does mean that the team that wins this game goes on to the semifinals tomorrow. Good bowling here by Shadley Van Skokvik. You've seen him with a big wind-up, or at least the batter, Suleiman Arabzai, with a big wind-up, wanting to go big down the ground. Yes, there is room straight, but it is not going to be possible to pull the ball onto the leg side, because there's a man out there in the deep. Paul Palmer down at long on and a square leg in position. So it's going to, Shadley Van Skokvik will need to be very close not wanting to be in that direction. This is skied. How far has it gone? Gone far enough. You've seen Suleiman Arabzai do that repeatedly throughout this tournament, and that is the first 6 of the match. First 6 of the innings, Suleiman Arabzai looking to be very, very dangerous. And he drags this ball from a very wide line. That's from probably 6th stump line, and still gets it over the ropes at deep mid-wicket. So the first 6 underway. This is Brian Walters, and I am joined in the commentary area, field number 5, by, once again, Manali Patel. Manali, good afternoon as Shadley Van Skolkvik comes in to bowl the last ball of over number 1. 9 runs come from that first over. Good afternoon, Manali.
Good afternoon. 1 over gone. It's 9 for none. Had a good lunch, Brian?
I literally scarfed it down, as they say.
You scarfed it down. There's plenty of time between the 2 games. No?
If you're a professional the way that you are, you don't need a lot of prep time. I, on the other hand, need as much prep time as I can get. So,
For a sub?
Prep time.
Oh,
prep time to
I
be
thought you
able
were preparing your sub. I wasn't very sure.
No. Preparing for the game. You can roll out of bed and start commentating. Some of us need more time to prepare.
I was very confused for a second. I was like, wow, I didn't realize you were such a connoisseur of your food.
No. So Janoy Drysdale from the highway end sprays the first one down the leg side.
Played an excellent game yesterday, the Atlanta Fire. Needed the 2 points and needed a good net run rate. Managed to do both of that yesterday. And brought themselves in contention for that playoff spot and the semis. We had a conversation about the name Bay Blazers yesterday. Lenny and I asked him the same question I asked you about the Bay Blades, and he had no idea either.
About the what? Oh, get back to that conversation in a minute. That is a stunning shot up and over extra cover for 6.
Glorious looking stroke this, and total control. Holds his shape, holds the pose, and it's a nice checked shot for 6. Always envious of people with so much power.
It's power. Certainly he's a strong man, but it's the combination of power and timing. Because it's just, as you said, a checked drive. Very little flourish. And even if you have that much power, you still need to be able to time it in that way. That just really is a checked drive that flies away 60 yards.
Straighter this time into the leg side. And just the 2 runs. I was talking about Beyblades. Remember the show, the anime show and the toy? Does no one know what Beyblades is?
No.
Well, apparently you and Lenny certainly don't. But anyway, we were talking about this and
Your kids are a lot younger than Lenny and my kids.
Because I'm a lot younger.
We established that.
But Lenny said something really funny. We were talking about Bay Blazers. And so I said, Bay, waiting for him to pull it away.
Oh!
Off the hips and over that shipping container. That is a massive 6.
Well, Janoy Drysdale is going for runs here, and you're not going to get any one of these opening batters out, Bakari, on this occasion by bowling at his hips from over the wicket. So that is just him, Bakari, helping himself to 6 runs. Got on his pads, and again from that angle over the wicket, slanting in toward the body. He tremendously loves that shot, just getting inside the line. Again, very little flourish, but that's an easy one for him to put away. Drysdale needs to find the line outside the line of off stump.
surfers. Blonde hair.
Well, I said he needed to find the line outside of off stump, but that is the second wide that is sprayed down the leg side in this opening over by Drysdale. So Drysdale with good pace and very well built, tall, 6'4"-ish. But if the line is not right, then you will be punished. Standing right here in front of us at deep backward square leg is Obaspinar, but you don't want to have to use him. If you get into his body, then that ball will be sailing in this direction.
That struck him. And Bakari just taking a look at the back of his arm. Can be very painful to get hit flush on that elbow. Don't think he's been hit exactly there. Turning out to be very long over.
Well, talked about extra balls. He's already bowled 2 wide, so 6 total with 2 legal balls to come, and a bit of a delay as you pointed out. He may have just gotten hit on the elbow there.
Just calling for the magic spray, I think. We're going to have a short delay here.
So, Manali, while we have a little bit of a break, let's just kind of look at big picture and talk about the fact that as we get toward this last game in the group stages, the winner of this game, Atlanta Fire and Bay Blazers, is in the final tomorrow. I'm sorry, in the semifinal tomorrow. That's a Group A matchup. Group B, Space City Cowboys are at the very top of that division. 4 wins, no losses. Clarion Eagles, number 2, 3 wins, 1 loss. St. Louis Americans, 1 and 3, and all the other teams are below them. So that Group B is set. So it will be the Space City Cowboys and Clarion Eagles going through. This one is all to play for. Again, the Prime Raiders on top. Atlanta Fire and Bay Blazers themselves are 2 and 3, and the winner of that gets to the semis tomorrow. Chipped in the air that time to Stephen Taylor, the captain, at short extra cover. So a couple of good deliveries here by Janoy Drysdale. Attacking, hostile type of delivery to wrap his Hussein Bukhari on the arm, and then this next delivery that is just inducing a shot into the covers for no run. Close out strong is what he'll be telling himself here. It's been an expensive over, but he can recover by closing out strong here. Gone. Dismissed. Flicking down the leg side. About the worst way to be dismissed. Oh my goodness. That is one that will be very, very disappointing. On another day that sails away over backward square for 6. This time it tickles the inside edge on the way through and collected by Abdullah Malek, the wicketkeeper. Look at this again, down the leg side, healthy edge too. And I'll tell you what, that is good umpiring, because sometimes those balls down the leg side, when you get the edge, it's kind of hard to tell what it came off of. But that's a good decision for me. That is the first wicket, 25 for 1 after 2.
Into the third over. 25 for 1. And an early breakthrough. Bay Blazers winning the toss, choosing to have a bat first. Probably looked at the scores from game number 1. High scoring affair on this ground. 200 and... Well played. Glorious drive. This is going to run away for 4 runs.
It runs away for 4, but this is not far away from being a catch by Stephen Taylor in the covers. It was in the air for just a little bit, and the captain is probably standing 25 or so yards away. This is to his right, and this is almost a catch. So he might consider himself lucky here, Suleiman Arbzai. Off to a fast start, striking it at 200. Goes down the ground this time. Paul Palmer down at long on. Are you serious? Ladies and gentlemen, the difference in age between myself and my co-commentator could not be more stark and more obvious. Manala Patel, back to you.
I mean, that's pretty obvious, right? Pretty good observation there. No disrespect intended. It's just meant from a wiseness perspective. Don't think I'm as wise as you. Can't get it past Stephen Taylor on this occasion. Looking for a full-fledged drive. The maturity levels are a little bit different.
That is a fair observation.
Have you never heard of that?
No, of course not. Why would I? What circles are you in?
Oh, that's a bit of extra bounce, and that has taken the keeper by surprise. Shadley Van Skalkwijk getting a bit of extra oomph off the surface.
Where did he extract that bounce from? That came out of nowhere. And it did not just take the batter by surprise, but the keeper himself, Abdulhad Malek, seemed to be surprised. Didn't collect it cleanly. So Shadley Van Skalkwijk, for me, a very, very key bowler in this circumstance.
The finger does go up. Very, very good shout. And Shadley Van Skalkwijk's going to pick up his first wicket, and that's the second one gone. All sorts of trouble here for the Bay Blazers.
So this replay will tell the story, and then after we see the replay, I'm going to make an observation related to a conversation that you and I were having, not yesterday, but Wednesday. Take a look at this again. To me, this is hitting the top of middle and off. In fact, look at that seam movement. That is tremendous. That is hitting the top of middle, actually. It was outside the line of off stump. In fact, the batter himself had walked across the line of off stump, Suleiman Arbzai. But when the ball cuts back in, it comes off of, or moves off of the surface, traps him right in front. That is out every day of the week. Back to what I was about to say. In his first over, Shadley Van Skalkwijk wrapped the bowler on, or the batter on the pad, did not appeal at all. There's a few people around who were trying to half-hearted appeal. Shadley did not appeal. In this instance, he wraps him on the pad and he absolutely turns around and appeals. More to the point, for me, only appeal when you think it is out. The umpire will take you more seriously. And of course, umpire Myron James didn't have very much thinking to do about that one. That's pretty much, as Jeffrey Dujon says, a man fixing his pipes could not be plumber than that. But it's something to pay attention to as you go through understanding what the umpire's psychology is. But that discussion can probably take place another day. Right now, 31 for 2 is the score. Last ball, over number 3, Shadley van Skalkvik. Excellent bowling from the champion bowler. 3 overs in the books, 31 for 2.
Tomorrow. Pv5 for the games.
No, evening.
Yeah, it's in the evening. It's in the evening. I'm going to start till like 8 o'clock.
That's why I'm starting early, no?
Yeah.
It's coming for sure.
Despite the 2 wickets, keeping at just over 10 runs and over, want to try and capitalize on these power play overs. High scoring affair in this first game of today on this ground. Brian, what do you reckon is going to be first innings score? Given the conditions are fairly decent for the batters, we've just seen the one odd one pop up, otherwise fairly true to bounce.
Nothing wrong with the conditions. The bigger concern for you, if you're a Bay Blazers fan, is that Suleiman Arabzai has been dismissed. And as goes Suleiman Arabzai, as goes the Blazers batters. And the difference in getting him early and not getting him early feels like about 30 or so runs. So yes, you can still put a good innings together here, scoring at the rate of 10 runs and over. With that dot ball, Milo Ponzo into the attack now, but they're still going at now 9.79 and over. That projects to 196. I don't think they'll get anywhere near that. But I think with the dismissal of Suleiman Arabzai, you're probably thinking about something around 135, 140.
We've seen that before, haven't we, from this side? They need and they rely on a good start from the 2 openers to be able to get in comfortable position. Once they continue to lose these wickets, especially when they lose them early, they really struggle getting to a decent total. And we know the bowling lineup of Atlanta Fire is a strong one. As we see Amila Ponzo in the attack, bowled very well yesterday. Amila Ponzo picked up a few wickets as well for his side. And actually saw Stephen Taylor take a spectacular catch yesterday. In the gap and won't make it to the boundary. This is great running. I actually was wondering if Stephen Taylor coaches or not, because he would make an excellent fielding coach.
Stephen Taylor has always had great hands, regardless of where he is on the field, whether fielding in the slips earlier in his career as a wicketkeeper or just on the boundary. Just really excellent fielder, regardless of where you put him on the field.
It's going to beat the fielder and run away for 4 runs.
Milo Ponzo, maybe bearing in mind that long or mid-on is inside the circle, you're looking to incentivize the batters to play on the offside. There's a man in the deep, at deep extra cover. If it's too straight, which is what this one is, then it gets punched down the ground for 4. That's more where you need for the batters to play with this field.
One delivery. I want to try and finish nice and clean here, Mila Ponzo. If it wasn't for that boundary, it would have actually been a very decent over. He does finish well. A dot to end the over. 4 overs gone. It's 39 for 2.
A lot of comments, but not very many in English, so I got nothing. At least one other person's gonna ask for your Instagram handle.
Drysdale back to the attack, coming in for his second over. Pretty interesting first over. Very expensive to begin with, and did manage to pick up a wicket off the last delivery of his over. He's going to start with a wide again.
Well, that wicket will look better on the scorebook than it did in real life, because it was just like this one, going down the leg side. He spread 2 down the leg side, and those were given as wides before in that first over. That third one going down the leg side again just happened to tickle the inside edge of the bat, so that's why he got his wicket. But for me, the line that he's bowling is not quite right. He needs for that line to be outside the line of off stump.
And we're talking about the line going across from the right hander. The other issue is also that breeze. He's bowling into the breeze that would then be taking the ball further down leg. And he's got to take that into account where he's starting. If he can try and start a little bit wider, it will then allow for that breeze to take effect. Just can't be too straight. It's very breezy out there, and got a quick couple laps in between. Has it gone all the way? Yes, it has, by quite some margin as well.
When you say has it gone all the way, I thought you were asking has it gone all the way to Austin, because that one almost did. This is, for me, again, an issue with the line. The length is one that encourages play on the front foot, but that line angled into his body, that for me has to be outside the line of off stump, because if it's anywhere near his body, Hezbollah Durrani has shown that he likes to go in that direction. So you're going to have to somehow encourage him to play on the offside. You're much better off being hit through the offside than to be getting into his body and having him play that shot towards the leg side, where the ball will also be held by the wind.
Smashed down the ground this time. I think it's just landed inside the rope. And it's going to be a 1 bounce 4. Some power this off the bat of Durrani.
Not the best of days with the ball so far for Janoy Drysdale. Now, bearing in mind you're bowling to a batter who wants to play on the leg side. Even the balls that are outside the line of off stump, he's dragging onto the leg side. So one thing to consider if you're Drysdale and you have the pace to do this is to go around the wicket, slant the ball across him and make him drag it from that much further outside the line of off stump. And it certainly would be a way to discourage the big shots on the leg side, because as of right now, he is making mincemeat of these deliveries. Stephen Taylor having a very animated discussion with Drysdale, because I think the frustration is, you know, he wants to hit you in that direction. Why do you keep bowling the types of deliveries that can be hit in that direction?
51 runs on the cards already. 4.3 overs in. I think we're looking at another high-scoring affair.
Well, earlier I said 140 something, but if Hezbollah Durrani stays there, we may go much further than that, because he's loving the bowling he's getting right now.
Goes again, and it's gonna, wow, well, oh no. I was gonna say it's just gonna stay inside the rope with that kick, but it has actually managed to find its way over the rope for 4 more. Not so sure I'm happy with that fielding effort.
Stephen Taylor has his elbows or his hands on his hips. And as you see right here at the very end, Paul Palmer not quite able to be the football star that he thinks that he is. But for me, again, these are all balls that are being dragged to the leg side. You have to be able to deliver the ball outside the line of off stump to prevent that from happening.
Beautiful. Just straight to the fielder.
His approach is to clear the front leg and go big on the leg side. And anything that is remotely close, let's say a fifth stump line or straighter, he is dragging to the leg side. So the simple solution is to not allow him to play that shot. For me, if I am Drysdale, I'm going around the wicket. But at minimum, he needs to stay well outside the line of off stump.
Leg side, low full toss. And a very expensive over continues. That's going to be 6 more. Quick math on that one for me.
22 runs come from over number 5. Look where this ball is.
Nothing delivery. Absolutely nothing delivery.
He wants to play in that direction. You are essentially feeding him what he wants. And so from that position, you're almost, essentially you're helping him score runs. I hate to keep repeating myself. As a bowler, your objective is to take away what the batter wants to do. And the best way to do that, at least specifically for Durrani, is to go around the wicket and slant the ball going away from him, or bowl so wide that it's just inside the wide line. You're encouraging him to play on the offside. Anything straighter than that, and he is looking to punish you on the leg side. So very, very fast start with the bat. Bay Blazers lost a couple of quick wickets, but my goodness, putting together a good partnership here. 30 is what the partnership is worth. Sadeep Ganesh, 8 from 5. Durrani, 21 from 10.
Surely we can't have another 200 plus first innings, can we? 61 runs on the board already, 5 overs in, 15 overs to go.
Oh, for what it's worth, the current run rate projects to 244. Again, for what it's worth.
This is a good recovery, though, from the Bay Blazers having lost the 2 early wickets. Amila Ponzo. They take pace off. We saw that was pretty effective this morning as well. Taking pace off just helps slow the run rate down.
Taking pace off. Shadley Van Skalkvik's 2 overs. Total of 15 runs conceded. Janor Drysdale's 2 overs. His first over went for 16. His second over went for 22. So that's 38. You have several options for left arm orthodox. You have Amila Ponzo, bowls beautifully. You have a couple of other options. Number one, I'd want to see whether or not Zishan Maksud is still able to bowl the way that he ordinarily does. And then earlier I mentioned Oba Spinar. For me, especially with the idea of pace off being so effective, and you've seen lefties all day on this field be very effective, I'd want to see how quickly I could introduce both Oba Spinar and Zishan Maksud into the attack. Well, that's gone. Pulling straight. Pace off is the idea. Take the pace off. If you bowl it at 85 miles an hour, it gets hit out of the park. Pace off does the trick here. That is a big wicket by Amila Ponzo, the man who has done much of the damage so far. His bowler Durrani has been dismissed. 64 for 3.
Taking pace off has worked, and this is absolutely plumb. On the back foot, I'm not even sure why the batter looks so perplexed there.
Well, what I'm chuckling at is that Amila Ponzo started walking down and celebrating without even turning around to appeal, because he was that sure that that was out. And I have to say, there is nothing at all wrong with that decision. Umpires can sometimes get it's a tricky and thankless job, but this is one of the easier decisions that is going to have to be made today on the field by Ravi Kanani. And all of a sudden, Monali Patel's heart beats just a little bit faster because her fellow countryman is shall we say, struggling for runs?
Nitish Kumar. Out in the middle. Had a couple of starts, just hasn't been able to convert them into bigger scores. Down the ground, off the mark with a single. Everywhere. It's bad. There's another one. There's another one. Did you watch it? Okay, that's why you. Decent over comes to none from Emila Ponzo. End of the power play as well. 65 for 3 after 6 overs. No wonder you've got extra bit of bounce as this one is hit into the deck, and a quick single to start the over. It's gonna rock your world. You just watch it. Into the leg side and in the gap as well as this runs away for 4 runs. Want to try and keep the pressure on both sides. Emila Ponzo bowling a very tidy over. Kamral Rabbi just needs to be as tight as he can. This one sat up quite nicely to be put away.
I really do hate to sound like a broken record. These batters prefer the leg side, want to swing toward the leg side, are motivated to swing toward the leg side. That to me is a much better line. You want to incentivize the batters to hit the balls that you want them to play. Anything that is toward the body, they will punish. And so it's incumbent on all of these bowlers, the pace bowlers in particular, to get those balls outside the line of off stump.
Tighter line this time, and good fielding effort. Stephen Taylor, absolute live wire in the field.
I've seen pace off do the job. I genuinely am surprised that you don't see more of Zishan Maksood or Obis Pinar, or both. Taking a little bit of time to get going here. Kamar Rabbi into his first over. 6 runs already conceded from his first 4 balls. May look for 2 here. It's good running. So every time you lose wickets, that tends to slow the scoring rate down. But the way you pick that scoring rate back up is just work the ball into the gaps and look for opportunities to run those 2s. Nitish Kumar would love to have a big score here. He's been short of runs for a while. Sadeep Ganesh, the captain and wicketkeeper, is a great player. These 2 need to put their heads together and put together a good partnership here.
Just gets it past the bowler as they scamper across for a single to wrap up the 7th over. 74 for 3. Going at just over 10.5 runs and over, and starting to build another partnership. Zishan Maksud going to come into the attack. A lot of experience in Zishan Maksud.
This is an interesting move, and one that I called for a couple of overs ago. And the reason why it's interesting, particularly from the southern end, is because the wind is coming from the southeast, and so any ball elevated square from this angle will be into the wind. And in particular, we're playing on the westernmost ground, westernmost pitch. So it's a bit of a bigger hit in this direction. So all of that to me spells catching opportunities on the leg side.
Tossed up delivery. And worked into the leg side. I do enjoy the fact that he's not afraid to toss it up, Zishan Maksud.
Generally speaking, that's accurate. And then more so today, with the conditions where I just described them, I think he's trying to incentivize a big shot in the air on the leg side. So we'll see whether or not that comes off.
Tidy over from Zishan Maksud. Just 4 runs coming off of it. 8 overs gone and 78 for 3.
So current run rate after 8 overs is 9.75. That run rate projects to a score of 195. And at ZZ71, we had a conversation this morning. That is your exact prediction, 195. So that will be interesting to see whether or not the Bay Blazers will be able to maintain that scoring rate that will give them that score. That's going to help in that direction because yet another wide has been bowled here. So not the cleanest of deliveries or the cleanest of spells by the fast bowlers. Fast bowlers in particular. 5 extras so far. 1 leg by and 4 wides. And it's not just the wides. It's the fact that in my mind they've bowled just a little too straight. A little too much at the body of the batters. And that's why that scoring rate is up around 9.5. That is so much better. That line is where he needs to live. And it will be interesting to see. Already talked about Zishan Maksud. I would really be interested in seeing whenever Oba Spinar comes into bowl, because for me, those left arm orthodox bowlers are going to make all the difference in the world in this match.
Oh, that's a drill back past the bowler. Absolutely smashed. I was tempted to get something behind that. I said, you know what? I think I'm going to let this one go. There's protection in the deep for that.
I'll tell you what, just looking at that again though, he sticks his left leg out there half-heartedly. That could have done a lot of damage had that hit him on hit him on the shin. So he may consider himself lucky, Kamru Rabbi, that was not off of the leg.
Into the leg side and 4 more to the total. Good little partnership starting to form here. I think he just rolled his fingers along the seam there as well.
I don't know if I might start getting tired of hearing myself say this. Bowl at their bodies at your peril. Not an express delivery. If you have the pace of maybe Janoy Drysdale and you bend your back and get a genuine bouncer in there, that's a different conversation. But these are just easily put away on the leg side, and that's really going to be a problem for the Atlanta Fire unless they fix that mindset. Much
better length. Push down the ground for single, but that's sort of the length that you want to be at, not allowing for those arms to be freed. Problem though has been the consistency in execution. 85 runs on the cards already.
They want 2.
Oh, this is trouble.
Oh,
this is trouble.
God.
And that's going to result in another wicket. Indecisiveness. Never was 2 runs to begin with. And this over has resulted in a run out.
I would disagree with what you just said. Had they committed to the second run immediately, it was easily on. And take a look at this. It was Saideep Ganesh at the non-strikers end, or the fact that Nitish Kumar, who's been run out, he would have been running to the danger end, or he was running to the danger end. He had it covered. Had Saideep Ganesh responded immediately, I think Saideep Ganesh gets back to the strikers end without much trouble. And for me, Nitish Kumar is the one who might feel hard done by, because he was going to the danger end and he thought, and I think rightly so, that he would have gotten there. But Saideep Ganesh not responding, and then Nitish Kumar finding himself up a creek without a paddle, as they say. So 4th wicket is down. 86 for 4 with 1 delivery remaining in over number 9. I do see the point that you were trying to make Manala Patel 1 ball remaining over number 9.
Very wayward throw, but that will end the 9th over. It's 86 for 4. Stephen Taylor into the attack and worked into the leg side, looking for 2. They will just settle for the 1. Watchful this time. Don't want to lose another wicket in that manner again. Nitish Kumar being run out. Second last delivery of the previous over.
Runouts are disappointing. The person who I feel it for the most is Nitish Kumar. He has been short of runs, but he was looking comfortable. And once again, I stressed the fact that he was the one running toward the danger end, and he thinks, I have this covered, I just need my captain to run with me. Sadeep Ganesh turning down that second run. Unfortunately, Nitish Kumar was already halfway down the track. That stabs me in the heart, and I'm not even playing.
It is one of my most hated ways of getting out. Because my logic is you learn how to run when you're a little baby. How can you mess up running? No, but genuinely always hated that format of getting out. Especially because it's a horrible feeling. You're running in and you can see, you almost see it in slow motion that it's about to happen. And then you're walking back.
The element for me that is most, and I hate to keep dwelling on this, is that Nitish Kumar was looking very good. Saw him get out on Wednesday, playing too early, getting a leading edge. Those to me are indications that there's a batter who is not in good nick. But he was actually looking very good today. Wasn't there for very long, but the small innings that he had, it looked like he was trying to build something, starting to build something. And unfortunately, having been dismissed, he is going to not take any further part unless he bowls later on, which he doesn't do much of anymore. But that genuinely makes me feel it for him, as we say in Jamaica.
It's really interesting interaction that you just had with a gentleman that walked in here. Those of you who don't know, it was a very Jamaican conversation, and I had absolutely no idea what they were saying. None whatsoever.
That man is probably the person I've known the longest in the Houston area. Knocked him over. We'll say more about that shortly. Stephen Taylor goes full and straight. That is the end of Zaid Zakil, 91 for 5.
Such a good bowler, Stephen Taylor. And this is now becoming problematic. Wickets continuing to tumble here for the Bay Blazers. And they're all of a sudden 5 wickets down. Halfway point, 10 overs gone, 91 for 5 as we take another look at this replay. Completely through the gate, and it's partly because of that flight and dip. Looking to play that delivery, but he's completely played over it as it's dipped on him.
Well, He's walking off in very dejected fashion. Maybe, of course, it's easy to say after the fact, but almost like he played that one toward mid-wicket as opposed to playing straight down the ground. And under those circumstances, boy, you really do feel like he missed out here. Stephen Taylor is a good bowler, a good containing bowler, but generally, if you play over a straight ball and essentially play across the line, that's not something that will feel very good later on. Halfway through the innings, that projected score that was in the 320 range earlier is slowly coming down. Projection as of right now, 182.
You were telling us about that gentleman who was in here until you got very rudely interrupted by the wicket.
By the wicket. Herman Geddes. Herman Geddes is a long-serving member of the Houston community. Said that he's probably the person who I've known the longest in the cricket community in Houston. Dear friend, we actually used to play with each other on the same team, the Memorial Cricket Club here in Houston, or in the Houston Cricket League, I should say. Janoy Drysdale back for over number 3, and he'll be looking to get a better over than the 2 that he had previously.
So at home, your wife is from Jamaica originally as well?
Born in Jamaica, grew up in Canada.
So when you're interacting at home, do you speak in Jamaican? And I understand it's, people are like, well, what do you mean Jamaican? But it's obviously very different.
Very different is doing a lot of work. It's English. It's just spoken in such a way that we don't care.
You're the only ones who can understand it.
Anybody who's not Jamaican can understand. And it's really interesting, the different languages in the Caribbean. Most of our islands speak a dialect other than the primary language. But in some Caribbean islands, the dialect, like our dialect is English-based. Some Caribbean islands, the dialect is French-based. So, for example, I had teammates from Dominica or teammates from St. Lucia. I would have no idea what they were saying, and now I know how they feel, how I feel, or when other people are talking, and I can't understand them.
So when you're speaking at home, like with your sons, for example, do you speak in Jamaican?
What a great question, because it's, to me, a really important part of our culture, so that even though both of our sons were born here, we speak in that way to them. In addition, they both play a lot of football, soccer, and there are a lot of people from the Caribbean, particularly my oldest son who plays professionally. There are a lot of people on that circuit who also speak, whether it be Trinidadian or from another Caribbean country, and they do the same thing. So it's very cultural. It's a means of being able to hold on to your culture even though you're no longer in the country, if that makes sense.
Just sounds so cool.
Ah, thank you.
Say something. Say it's very breezy at this game today.
So the one thing I have to let you know, it's a dialect. It's not another language. So it's not like it can be translated in that way. Just
No, I want it to just sound Jamaican. So maybe the next 2 balls, Jamaican accent. Come na man.
All right, the man there, so him named January, right? And come from Jamaica too, And so from him come up and him put the ball in the right place. So you put the ball in the right place, you have to get the ball in the right place. So get the ball, lick over the wicket and come.
I understood all of that. I did. I think that's what it is. I can understand cricket in West Indian terms. I just can't understand conversations between 2 people outside of that. 11 overs gone. It's 94 for 5, and I think a lot of us enjoyed that.
And I don't think there are any of those comments that will, in any way, what does that even mean? Because I'm assuming you can understand some of that, right?
I can understand it, yes.
Should I even ask?
I'm just saying we're talking about the thing he's meant to me, but because there's a reference to a female.
Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. I'm happy that Drysdale is bowling as well as he is in this over.
It's a good comeback, isn't it?
It's a
After two
really-
very expensive overs.
Yes. You want to see that.
Oh, you've got to do it one more time.
No. That,
It was
good.
fantastic.
We're good. And yeah, I'm not following any of that.
Stephen Taylor is going to bring himself back in the slip position as Zishan Maksud comes back into the attack. Bit of turn as it just grips the surface for Zishan Maksud.
I'm wondering if Obaspinar is injured. Excuse me, is injured. Because I cannot imagine why one of your premier left arm orthodox bowlers is not bowling.
We didn't see him bowl yesterday either, actually.
Well, he bowls well enough to open the bowling most times in the minor leagues. Or maybe he's preserving himself for the major league season that starts in a couple months.
In a couple of months.
I can tell you exactly when if you'd like.
No, I just meant what. I said preserving yourself for a couple of months. That's a very long time to just preserve yourself from bowling.
Point taken.
Into the gap on the offside, and it should just be the one run. As Brian Walters preserves himself from the bowling for 2 months.
Minor league season, major league season starts on Thursday, June 18th. And for those who do not know what we're talking about, there is MLC, Major League Cricket, played right here in the US. First stop in the MLC season is in Grand Prairie, just outside of Dallas. Second stop is in Oakland, the old Oakland Coliseum where baseball used to be played.
Popped up, and just gets over Zishan Maksud's head. Those are those moments where you're in the game and you watch it in slow motion in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Tidy over comes to an end. 3 runs come off of it. 12 overs gone. It's 98 for 5.
Just to wrap up that thought, the minor leagues, I keep saying minor league, major league season starts in Grand Prairie outside of Dallas. After that, it goes into Oakland Coliseum. Then a newly constructed facility in Los Angeles. You referenced that the very first day, I believe. And then the playoffs, I believe, go back to Oakland. So the season starts on June 18th, ends on July 18th. High level cricket, international stars, the best stars that the US has to offer. And just think of it like a party that lasts for 3 hours.
You've been to CPL before, I'm sure.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Now that's a party. Popped up. Should be taken this time. Oh, full stretch drive. That would have been really difficult to hold on to. He was diving backwards. But if anyone could have taken it, it's that man on screen, Stephen Taylor.
It was always going to be over his head. I didn't think he would have gotten as close to this as he did. Look at this. That diving effort there. He almost pulls off a special catch, Stephen Taylor. you mentioned the CPL. The Jamaica Talawas used to be our franchise, meaning the Jamaican franchise. The Talawas went defunct, some 4 or 5 years ago now. No CPL cricket of any kind in Jamaica for the last several years. There is now a new team, the Jamaica Kingsmen. Kingsmen, very prominent team right here in the Houston area. Kingsman Arena used to be Musa Stadium. It's in Pearland, about 65 miles southeast of where we are right here. And I would think, as that's flicked off of the pads down to deep fan leg for a couple, I would think that Jamaica will see me and the CPL this year.
It must have really bothered you to not be in the CPL or to not have a Jamaica team in the CPL for the last few years.
It bothered me more than I let on, and it also bothered me more than I admitted to myself. And yes, this is very economically driven, and there are other islands in the Caribbean and other regions in the Caribbean that are more viable for cricket than Jamaica is right now, which is a whole other conversation in itself. But my goodness, if you cannot have the largest island in the Caribbean and the most populous region in the Caribbean, English speaking anyway, if that team or that country cannot have a CPL team, then why bother having a CPL? And I'm very, very glad that that has been rectified. 100 up, by the way. 103 for 5. 2 balls remaining over number 13.
Just manages to squeeze this one out. Just a dot ball though. Scoring rate has come down significantly after the last 2 wickets.
Talk about the scoring rate having come down. 1 ball remaining here in over number 13. The last 5 overs have yielded 25 runs. So you're going at less than a run a ball. Boy, if the kids were here watching, they would see Stephen Taylor backing up that throw that comes from the outfield exactly the way you need to do it. 6 runs from the over. End of over number 13, 104 for 5. Oh! Stephen Taylor thinks that he should have had that.
I think he could have had that.
I'll say this. He's taken much more difficult catches than this. No, is it an easy catch? Absolutely not.
But by his caliber.
At his standards, Stephen Taylor will tell you 10 times out of 10 he should have taken that.
For such a big unit, he's very agile.
And it almost sounds like a left-handed compliment, like we're it's like an insult. It's absolutely not an insult. That's pulled away into the boundary, but Obaspinar cleaning up. Stephen Taylor moves and is as agile a man for any size, let alone somebody his size, as you'd ever find on a cricket field. Such an important part of his game.
in the gap. What do you think they're going to end up with here at the end of the first over or at the end of the first innings? At one point, they were cruising.
At one point, 200 seemed to be on the cards. As of right now, the projection is 157. Earlier, you'd asked me, and I said when after the dismissal of Suleiman Arabzai, that something around 140 would probably be where they end up. And it's starting to feel like that's about where they're going to end up.
Yeah, I'm thinking around that 146, 147 mark right now, actually. All comes down to how this partnership's going to go, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, this partnership is now worth 15. And it's going to need to continue building. Good piece of fielding to his own bowling by Zishan Maksud. And so you're in this portion of the innings where you need to start thinking about how are you going to accelerate.
That's not going to help the acceleration whatsoever. In the air for quite some time, and good work by Drysdale coming around. There were two fielders between Drysdale and Palmer coming around for this catch. Good communication by the two, and that's going to be yet another one.
Yet another one is right. Vikash Mohan, 5 from 12. Drysdale takes a very good catch for the exact reason that you mentioned. Out of the corner of his eye, he would have seen Paul Palmer coming off of the boundary. Ball swirling in the air for a little bit. Couldn't tell really right there, but at the very end of that clip, you saw Drysdale secure the ball at the same time that Paul Palmer pops into your picture. Oh, is that a lot of P's? Paul Palmer pops into the picture. And so the Patlanta Pyre have their team Puno Porpa Pip. Let me stop.
I think you should. 13.5 overs gone. 13.6 overs. 14 overs gone. 106 for 6. Right, 6 overs to go. 6 wickets down, and dare I say, they risk getting bowled out here.
Can you imagine? Atlanta Fire is a really good bowling side. When you chose to bat first, the Bay Blazers, you would have been thinking about somewhere around the 180 mark at minimum. But things get that much more difficult because Shadley Van Skalkvik now coming back into the attack. 2 overs. 1 for 15. Make that 1 for 14. And in my mind, one of the more difficult things to do is to try to accelerate against a bowler like Shadley Van Skalkvik. What a great Yorker that one is.
But they need more runs. 107 is not going to cut it. I don't even think 130, 140 is going to cut it. Mm-hmm. But you're 6 wickets down. When do you now start to attack some of this bowling? Flicked off the pads. And a misfield will allow for a couple more runs. No, surprisingly.
Shadley Van Skalkvik getting away with this one. It's a little bit too straight, tailing in toward the pads. Very, very wide of the crease too, creating that angle. So from that wide of the crease, your line really needs to be just down the channel. But thankfully for him, at least, fielder Drysdale at short fine leg was able to deflect that one. Only one run conceded.
It's a pretty late leave, huh? I'm gonna go for it. No, I'm not.
And by the way, eagle-eyed Monali Patel spoke to one of the umpires, and they did confirm that because of how windy it is, they had to take the bails off. Now, when that happens ordinarily, it's just a single into the outfield. When that happens, the umpires have a second set of bails that are heavier than the regulation bails. But it turns out they only have one set of the heavy bails.
Unacceptable.
It's just, I mean, what kind of cricket are we playing here? No, but in all seriousness, as windy as it is, and you really can't tell on the screen, but look at the umpire's pants. Umpire Marion James' pants will give you a sense of how windy it is out there.
And to the leg side. Boundaries have all but dried up. They're only able to now deal in singles and doubles. This is a really good comeback from Atlanta Fire after the start that the Bay Blazers were able to get.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find out?
No.
Come on.
Why would I go and ask them about that? I might as well ask them about your word. Play it into the offside. What a great over by Shadley Van Skulkvik.
15 overs gone, 111 for 6. Nelson, as you would call it. Mila Oponzo comes in for his second spell. 12 for 1 in his 2 overs. He's been outstanding with the ball, not just today, but throughout this tournament. Calls for catch it, as simple as you like, as that's going to be wicket number 7. Drysdale takes a pretty easy catch at backward square leg. 111 for 7. Nelson works this time.
Nelson does in fact work. Amir Hamza Hotak dismissed. You'll see him with the ball earlier, probably opened the bowling, but he was asked here to bat at minimum through 20 overs and then hopefully get a few 4s and 6s along the way. Did not happen. A very straightforward catch. The second catch taken by Drysdale. Look at this again. Looking to sweep and just getting a genuine top edge, nowhere near the middle of the bat. And it's going to be Faisal Ahmedzai, who comes in at number 9. Nelson, the dangerous Nelson, which by the way is my wife's maiden name. For what it's worth.
What's the story behind Nelson? How have they named it Nelson? I need to look that up unless you know.
I do not know. It's a very exclusively an English thing. And that in no way means anything to us in the Caribbean whatsoever. But it is very, very much. Zaid Zakil. Things are not getting any easier. Vikash Mohan it is who is at the non-striker's end, and it's going to be Faisal Ahmadzai to take strike.
We said Emilio Ponzo has bowled very well in the tournament, and sure enough, back in the attack, and he picks up a wicket off the first delivery.
Ramsey Brown, it is so good to hear from you. And why are you not here, by the way? Atlanta Fire is not Atlanta Fire without the great Ramsey Brown. So wherever you are, hey, you have a few minutes to get on a flight and hop over for the final day tomorrow.
Yeah, I was expecting to see you here, actually.
Yep.
Hope you're well, though. What an over this is turning out to be from Emilio Ponzo.
Goodness.
Into the leg side. Should just be the one run. They are running the first one hard.
Which is what Coach Manala Patel would want.
Yeah, basics.
So this is really good stuff. What a fight back this is. I will tell you, Manala Patel, after this delivery, the last 5 overs, as that's a dot to close things out over number 16, 112 for 7. The last 5 overs have gone for 17 runs. Truly collapsing in a way that they would not have wanted and certainly would not have expected, having chosen to bat first.
I do want to know why they've chosen to have a bat first, actually. I'm wondering if it's because of what they've seen in the first game, seen that high-scoring affair. But sometimes it's really not even about the toss, is it? It's all about executing. You can win the toss, you can lose the toss, but you've still got to be able to execute.
Well, when you talk about the Atlanta Fire, the first name that comes to mind is Hassan Tariq. Hassan, if you are here and you're telling me that you've been here all week and I have yet to see you, that is very disappointing that you've not yet made your way over here to see us. Top edge down to fine leg, close to the boundary and getting there now for 4.
I don't think that's his fault, though. I think that's your fault. You were not here yesterday. We met him yesterday.
Are you serious?
Yep.
So Hassan waited until I was not here to come over and say hello? I'm really taking offense to that now.
That happens when you slack off of the work that you're supposed to be doing.
Oh, goodness. So welcome boundary, by the way. Faisal Ahmadzai. You need a whole lot more of that if you want to challenge the Atlanta Fire. It feels like the Atlanta Fire have the leg up in the competition so far, at least in this game.
Oh, that's a biggie. He has latched onto this, and he's going to get it quite the distance as well. This is going to go for a maximum. Ooh. All that pressure from the last few overs just starting to get released here.
Well, you said it right. That was a biggie. And he absolutely drills this up into the air from this angle. It is being helped by the wind. And look where he drags this from also. Drags it from about a 5th stump line. More to the point I was making earlier. Most of these batters on the Bay Blazers, when they look big, they want to hit on the leg side. So it's up to you to prevent them from hitting in that direction. A very long conversation taking place right now between Zishan Maksud and the bowler himself, Kamar Rabbi. You would think the conversation would be more along the lines of, would you please get him to play on the offside?
Pressure on the bowler. 2 deliveries. Both of them have found the rope. And I really don't think Atlanta Fire will be too concerned about this score. They've got a lot of batting Anything under 140 really shouldn't concern them much at all. But it's just you want to finish an innings on a high and use that momentum when you come into that second innings. That's a massive wide. Slingy sort of action and just holds onto the ball a fraction too long.
It is a massive wide, but for me, I prefer for him to miss out there than to miss straight. Yes, you don't want it to be that wide, but if it's a choice between the two, particularly to these batters from Bay Blazers who want to hit big on the leg side, you're wanting to keep it out of the arc for them.
Pulled away. Protection in the deep. And a single.
So is there any way you can find a way to accelerate? Can you generate some momentum going into the back end of this innings? I wasn't asking if you yourself actually do you need momentum the rest of the way, Manali?
I think it's time for a snack. Afternoon tea.
Ooh.
Some tea and sandwiches.
What is your go-to snack as a vegetarian?
Not actually much of a snacker at all, but if I was going to snack, it'd have to be chocolate.
Cadbury fruit and nut for me.
Yeah, great chocolate. One of my favorite chocolates as well, actually. Quite enjoying the bag of chocolate pretzels I've bought recently. From that very long walk to CVS that we took. For those of you who don't know Brian Walters, he doesn't like to walk much. 200-meter walk and he whined like a baby the whole way there and back.
I have done a lot of walking in my 58 years of life. I don't need to do much more than that.
Oh, that makes me so sad to hear. But
I walk when I have to, specifically for exercising.
Back to the cricket. Very good comeback this. 2 expensive deliveries, a wide, and just as I say that, this has been put away. Tracer bullet for 6 to round off the over. A few really good deliveries in there, and just can't close it as well as he would have liked. 4 over spell done, 41 for none.
Well, Manali, as you see that replay again, hammered away over backward square for another 6. I just told you that the previous 5 overs went for 17. Over number 17 went for 18. And that is the opposite of closing things out effectively. So a few loose deliveries in that instance. And for me, it is going to be up to Zishan Maksud, and possibly if I were to be arranging the bowling the rest of the way, Zishan Maksud, who has bowled 2, make that 3. So this is his last. Amilo Ponso, I believe, still has 1 remaining. Those 3 or those 2 would bowl 2 the next 3. And I don't know that Stephen Taylor himself doesn't come back and bowl, be the third of those 3 overs, because everybody else who is bowling with pace has gone for runs. Now, take that back. I forgot Shadley Van Skokvik still has an over left. So you'd certainly expect Shadley Van Skokvik to bowl. But I really would prefer to have it be the slow bowlers who bowl the rest of the way. Athanaki, I could not agree with you more. Ooh, cheeky looking shot there. Just deflecting it off of the edge down to deep third. They'll get a couple. Do they want 3? Come back for the third. Going to be close, but not the strongest of throws from the outfield. So 3 runs to start over number 18. And this is a good little passage of play for the Blazers. Don't think they're going to get anywhere near what they would have hoped for at the start of this innings, But this momentum here toward the back end is actually working very well for them. Vikash Mohan, who I found out yesterday or Wednesday. Reverse sweep.
Oh,
Look
well
at
done.
Stephen Taylor. Look at Stephen Taylor.
He saves at least 20 runs in the field.
That's 20 sounds high, but he does save a lot of runs in the field. No, I just started saying Vikash Mohan. I didn't realize until 2 days ago. It's from Trinidad. Did not know that.
It's not a very Trini name, is it? Tries the reverse again. Gets absolutely nowhere with it this time. Well, I guess it can be a Trini name. You just have to pronounce it that way.
How many other ways can you pronounce Vikash?
Okay, I'm going to give this an attempt, okay?
All right.
Hold on. I'm going to get in the zone.
Oh. In the zone. All right.
Oh, very well bowled.
Great delivery, that.
Flirting with that outside edge. I'm just going to say it after this over is done.
Fair enough. What was your prediction for the score, by the way? Didn't you say 167?
145.
Stop lying.
No,
you
I
did
did.
not say 145.
You can rewind and listen. I said 145, 147.
I'm pretty sure I'm the one who said 140 something.
No, you said 160, 170. One delivery to come in the over. For those of you who are watching and listening, could you please just remind Brian of our predictions? Very well bowled. And an excellent over and an excellent spell comes to an end. 4 overs, 16 for 1, Zishan Maksood's spell. 18 overs gone, it's 136 for 7. Right, so we were talking about pronouncing.
One heart! One heart! TLFIRE. One heart. 1 5. 8 4 6. Show no mercy. One heart. 1 5. We apply the pressure. One heart. 1 5. We apply the pressure. One heart. 1 5.
There's only one minor league champion.
Last 2 overs of the innings. Just managing to get to 136 for 7. The Bay Blazers, it's been tough going after the first few overs. But we're saying about, you know, the Trini name. Mm-hmm. So you could say Vikash Mohan. Mm-hmm. Or you could say Vikash Mohan. Mohan. Trini.
Those two sounded exactly alike.
No, it's Mohan or Mohan.
Right, Mohan.
No, there it. Won't be able to beat the fielder. It is Zishan Maksood.
Zishan Maksood flirted for a second with the possibility of taking a shot at the stumps at the non-striker's end and decided discretion is the better part of valor. As they say, one is one.
Oh, he has latched onto this. It's really high up in the air. And it's got the distance as well. Getting some late runs here.
And how important are these late runs for them? Just elevating it into the air over deep mid wicket. Once again, when the ball is struck in that direction, it is being helped by a very strong wind. So not surprising that that ball carried as far as it did. And you really almost can't fault Shadley Van Skalkvik for that. That ball was well outside the line of off stump, almost just inside of the wide line. But Faisal Ahmedzai going all the way across to fetch it from outside off.
Tries to go across the line again, but this is a really good Yorker. Very optimistic appeal.
excellent delivery. So 8 from the 19th over the penultimate over the innings. This is exactly the kind of close to the innings that you need from the Bay Blazers. What score do you think will have the Atlanta Fire in some trouble? Inside edge down to short fine leg. It's going to be Drysdale. One of the interesting or important sort of storylines for me is going to be to see who bowls over number 20. Drysdale has one over left. Amila Panso has one over left. Stephen Taylor himself has all of 3 overs left, so there are options. It will be interesting to see which one Captain Stephen Taylor goes to. Yorker, but did not get enough of it. How far has it gone? All the way for 6. And by the way, when I said did not get enough of it, I meant that he did not get it as full as he needed to. Shadley Van Skalkvik. And it's a big strike for Faisal Ahmedzai down to that deep mid-wicket area. Has been one of the favorite scoring areas for the Bay Blazers in this match. Turning into a very expensive over here. 15 from the over so far. And the 150 is up.
Helicopter straight into the hands. Late cameo comes to an end. Ahmedzai, excellent late push for his side. 30 off 16 deliveries. And Shadley Van Skalkvik will pick up his second wicket. Just feel, though, that getting over that 150 mark is a really good mental note. Bit of pressure.
There's no question that it's a huge psychological advantage to get past 150, especially since you went through several overs where you were just really nothing, not challenging anything at all resembling respectability. So this late push, remember I mentioned the fact that those several overs went, 5 overs went for 17 runs. Well, the last couple of overs have been much, much more along the lines of what you're looking for. 15 from over number 19. Over number 17 went for 18. So 33 in those two. Throw in an over there where 6 came from over number 18. And so, yes, you've had a little bit of a flourish. And it will be Amilo Ponzo to bowl the last over.
Wrong length. And it's going to just make it over the fielder. Not the way you want to start an over, but they've got themselves in a pretty comfortable position here, the Bay Blazers. They do have some pretty decent bowling. And now Atlanta Fire, who was looking very good about 5-6 overs ago, will have to chase a much larger total than they might have anticipated. Finger goes up, looking to work that into the leg side, and it's as easy of a decision as it gets. Well and truly in front of the stumps. Mila Ponzo is going to pick up his third wicket. It's 157 for 9.
Full and straight. And that's the length that you should have been looking for from the first ball. First one gave the batter the opportunity to get underneath it, Vikas Mohan. But here, this really is in front. Impact is right in line with off stump. And with that angle from around the wicket, would have crashed into middle and leg. So that for me is a pretty simple decision for umpire Kanani to make. Can still get bowled out here. 4 balls remaining. What do they need to do? Both set batters been dismissed. Now 2 batters at the crease who've not yet faced. 1, onto that second run, not going to be able to get it. So not the best of starts to this over for Emilio Ponzo, but immediately making amends and then making sure that the next delivery is not one that you can elevate. You don't want to get bowled out, so you have to be there for the next 3 balls, but you also want to have the opportunity to score as much as you can. So it's a bit of a tricky position to be in as a batting side.
Just see the overcast conditions not only lingering, but also just getting a bit more darker as these clouds are getting grayer and grayer. Now, we're not expecting any rain today. There is rain expected tomorrow evening. And apparently the temperature is also going to be dipping quite a bit. I'll let Brian explain that in Fahrenheit, because those numbers mean very little to me. Coming from the world of Celsius.
High temperature today, 86 degrees Fahrenheit. High temperature tomorrow, 78. Falling to 51 at night with rain. So that's going to be very different from what you have here.
Boldham right through the gate, looking for the reverse. And it's a wicket on the last delivery of the innings. Emilio Ponzo will finish with 4 wickets to his name. He's been excellent with the ball today.
Right in the block hole, isn't it? And again, the reverse sweep, we've talked about it before. It's a premeditated shot. This time it does not come off. 159 is not a bad score, and it's certainly a lot better than it would have looked, say, about 5 overs ago. So let's look at the scorecard. We talked about the fact that when the top order doesn't fire for the Bay Blazers, they're not as dangerous. The middle order doing the bulk of the work. Sadeep Ganesh, 32 from 34. Good knock down the order. Faisal Ahmad Zai, 30 from 16. And a number of double-figure scores. Not a whole lot in terms of heavy scoring, but just enough consistency down the lineup to put together a score of 159. The bowlers, Monali, I think they were good.
They were, and the pick of the bowlers for me has got to be Emilio Ponzo. 4 wickets to his name, very economical at 5 1/4. You look down the order and its economy rates have been fairly steady, but it's the wicket taking ability of regular intervals that has gotten them in the position that they are. They started well, the Bay Blazers. Plenty of shots, plenty of action, and a really good strike rate between both of the openers until the first wicket. Bukhari gone in a very unorthodox fashion, down leg, wicket to Drysdale, followed by Suleiman Arbzai. Bowlers again trying to be tight, trying to limit the runs, but there were a lot of good shots early on, and it wasn't until the bowlers got into the stronghold and were able to then pick up a few quick wickets to get the breakthroughs. And we've seen some powerful hits down leg, especially. Anything in the swinging arc was put away with some emphatic fashion. This was a big wicket. Emilio Ponzo picking up the wicket of Hezbollah Durrani, 64 for 3. And that's when things started to change pretty quickly. Nitish Kumar coming in, trying to get a solid partnership going until that moment right there. A really important moment in the game, because just when that partnership was forming, we got the run out. Stephen Taylor, an absolute live wire in the field. Catches, saving runs, you name it, he does all of it. And then it was Zaid Zakil to go. Stephen Taylor taking that catch, followed by Mohan and Maksud bowling that one. Drysdale taking a really good, comfortable catch. A little bit of reprieve towards the end of the innings as we saw some lusty blows down the ground and into the leg side, using that wind to their advantage as well as they hit away from the wind. And man, did we see some massive shots, Brian, today. Glorious looking sixes. Shadley Van Schalkwyk, who had bowled fairly economically, just going for a few runs in the middle until he picked up this wicket right here. Amir Hamza Hotak, the next one to go, followed by Vikash Mohan, and finally the last wicket picked up by Amila Ponzo right through the gate. And as I mentioned earlier, he has been outstanding with the ball for Atlanta Fire. Take another quick look at those wickets and the bowling stats. And there, as a side who has had a bit of a topsy-turvy time, they'll be pretty comfortable saying that we've now managed to bowl them out for 159 and we've set ourselves a target of 160. Atlanta Fire, solid batting lineup, but we also know that the Bay Blazers have some pretty good bowling. Should be a pretty interesting contest. When we come back, we're going to take a short break. We'll see you momentarily.
Welcome back, Grand Prairie View Cricket Complex. Field number 5, match number 2 on the day. This one for the right to go through to the semifinals tomorrow. So this is effectively a quarterfinals match. The Atlanta Fire have the small task of chasing down 160 runs at a clean 8 runs and over. And they'll be attempting to do that with Rishi Pandey and Sai Mukamala. Brian Walters here with you. Happy to be joined once again, as always, by Monali Patel. Monali, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ryan. How are you?
I just had the most amazing half walk around this
Ground.
complex. Thank you. I can't even think of the word. It threw me off that much, Manali. It's going to be Ghulam Mudassar, who is a good left arm quick. Starts this one out, just going outside the line of off stump, operating here to Rishi Pandey and Sai Mukamala. It's going to be an interesting chase.
I'm just looking at those clouds, and I know you're saying it's not going to rain. I felt some drizzle when I was out there, and with the breeze bringing those gray clouds over this way, just looks a bit ominous.
Oh, Manala Patel, you should probably listen to someone who's lived in this country or in this state longer than you've been alive.
I'm not denying what you said. I'm just saying it looks ominous. Looks can be deceiving. Never judge a book by its cover.
We have a saying here in Texas: if you don't like the weather, stick around for a few minutes because it will change. And that applies at this time of the year mostly.
Have you been in a tornado before?
Oh my goodness, no.
Oh. Aren't they pretty common here?
We are not in Houston or in the Prairie View area. Tornado Alley goes from in the north Minnesota all the way down to, in fact, I'll get back to Tornado Alley in a minute because that is flicked away over backward square leg for a 6. That was lovely. Rishi Pandey made that look very easy, didn't he?
Excellent shot, but he's made it look easy because of that extra pace that the bowler is able to offer. Quick chip down the track. Look at that quick footwork, and just uses that pace to his advantage to guide it over the rope for 6. Using that momentum into that shot.
Just to finish that thought, Tornado Alley, the area from Minnesota in the north all the way down to North Texas, has the highest number of tornadoes on the planet. But here, like for example, us in Austin and certainly down here in the Houston area,
Oh, well bowled. Change of pace.
we are south of Tornado Alley. So Houston almost never has tornadoes. Austin, every once in a while, maybe once every 5 or so years, drive 200 miles north to Dallas, and they have a couple or so a year.
Okay, so I do have a question on that. Tornadoes, very fascinating, natural, occurring,
Phenomenon.
weather pattern, whatever you want to call it. Now, Tornado Alley is going to experience tornadoes.
Correct.
Is there a reason why people choose to live in the Tornado Alley? Because every so often you hear of homes being destroyed, people losing everything because of some of the dangerous tornadoes, and we're seeing more and more of them with global warming and whatnot.
You're not going to have, you can't not live in an entire state. So the issue is not whether or not people live there. The issue is what do people do to not be impacted by tornadoes. So if you go further north into Tornado Alley, Kansas, in areas like that, you find all of the houses have basements. In this part of the country, these houses don't have basements because tornadoes are so rare. But if you're in Kansas and you have a house that does not have a basement, you do so at your peril. If you have a mobile home, you live in a mobile home in that part of the country, at your peril.
Not out of the middle, as this is going to be kept to just a single to round off the first over. 8 runs coming off of it. 8 for none. We have basements in Canada. I don't think the reason for that is tornadoes necessarily, but I do find it fascinating that there are some states here that don't actually have basements.
You will not find a basement in probably in unless it's custom made or individually made. If you know how to build your house yourself, you won't find, for example, tract houses with basements in them. It's redundant. That's the reason.
Space. People have amazing home theaters in their basement.
Here we prefer to go up than down.
3 floors.
Yeah, 2 or 3 floors. Plus, we have a lot of space, so it's more likely that you'd see, for example, a 5,000 square foot house. It would spread out laterally versus up or down.
Interesting. And yeah, I mean, real estate is a lot cheaper here than it is up north.
100% right. Don't see always see this happen. Required rate at the start of the innings, 8. Current rate's 8. Required rate now, 8. That's what happens when you score 8 runs in the over when you need 8 runs in over to win. Simon Kamala, 1 from 1, and you expect this young national team player, who I think is going to be in the national setup for probably the next 15 or 20 years. You expect good things and big things from him. Amir Hamza Hotak, left arm orthodox. That is struck away powerfully through the covers for 4.
Safe shot, well timed, and as easy as you like. There's something about the cover drive, isn't it? Just the elegance of it. My favorite shot, actually.
The only thing better than that cover drive is if it were a left-hander who'd played it. A left-hander driving through the covers is a prettier sight in cricket.
Oh, that is some grip and turn. Drawing the batter forward and completely beating him on turn.
That reaction almost made me think that you disagree with me.
Left-handed thing?
Yep.
I don't know, it just looks a bit weird.
If you are listening to us right now, please, I would love your response to the comment we just heard in this commentary area. I should say the very blasphemous comment that left-handers driving through the covers look weird.
It just looks like...
You've heard the name Brian Lara? Have you heard that name?
It just looks like you need a mirror in
Sir
front
Gary
of them.
Sobers, you've heard that name? Wait, do you know who Sir Gary Sobers is?
I do. And listen, my son's also lefty. I get it. It just looks like you need a mirror in front of them.
Absolutely blasphemous commentary. You know what? I'm leaving here. You got this.
Left-handed batters have a really big advantage. Don't get me wrong, as do most left-handed athletes. Prefer the right-handed cover drive. 4 runs coming off of this. 2 overs gone. 12 for none. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. Just said it looks a bit weird sometimes.
I could not have heard a comment with which I disagree more strongly and emphatically than that one. In fact, let's ask Stephen Taylor after the game. Shall we ask Stephen Taylor that question?
Only if Stephen Taylor manages to score a cover drive today.
Challenge accepted. Like I'm speaking for Stephen Taylor.
That's exactly what you're doing. You just accepted a challenge on behalf of him. Down the ground again. This time it's a swing and a miss. Looking to use that pace again to his advantage.
He's running down the track. So you're taking your life in your hands when you run down the track to a bowler with the pace of a Ghulam Mudassar. And I don't know that you're not just batting normally to try to just put bat to ball. You're not chasing 260, you're chasing 160.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Tell me why, please. I'd love to hear.
I think if he's able to take the ball on the full like he did earlier, you're able to then use that pace to your advantage. You're able to get into better position to pick that ball up from. And the feeling of running down at a fast bowler and crunching it away, I mean, come on, as a batter, there is no better feeling.
The flip side of that coin that you just threw up in the air is you run down the track, the fast bowler sees you coming, knocks it in shorter. Gulambadasa can do that. And all of a sudden, you're in no man's land because you've already committed to coming down the track and you wear one off the side of the helmet.
Yeah, I don't know if skied high, fielder getting under it, and catch completed. And that's one of the reasons why he was coming down. That length that was being bowled was a bit troublesome by the time the ball got to him. So every time he chipped down, he was trying to keep it closer and lower for him to be able to get to.
Not an easy catch taken by Akash Sundaresan, who's on the field. And for me, this is a good catch. And here's where my comment in response to what you just said is this. If it's a medium pacer, I buy that argument. A pacer with the pace of a Gulambadasa is not easy to run down to. And so all of a sudden you find yourself in no man's land and you don't have control over those types of shots when you're running down the wicket to a bowler at that pace. So if you want to do it every once in a while, maybe once every couple of overs, but he's done it twice, 2 or 3 times in the first opening 9 balls that he's faced from Gulambadasa. For me, that's an opportunity to fix something. So it is Rishi Pandey who's been dismissed, and Saim Mukamal at the non-strikers end will be watching as Abdullah Malek takes strike. Abdullah Malek, the lefty. Lefty to lefty. Going on the attack here. Bay Blazers, a first or a slip in position and a backward point. Just a little bit of shape, just a touch of shape away from the left-handed batter. Gulambadasa looking really good so far in this over. 4 deliveries, 4 dots, one of which was a wicket. Amir Hamza Hotak, I think, is going to be a really important part of the story that happens next. And bearing in mind, the team that wins this match is the team that plays in the semifinals tomorrow morning. The other team stays home.
He's bowling a very good line and length here. And those little variations, little change-ups, are just making it very difficult for the batters to read him.
Well, third ball that he bowled, Gulambadasa got tonked over deep backward square for 6. But all the other deliveries that he's bowled since then, just 2 singles and just 1 ball remaining here in the over. He is 1 dot ball short of a wicket made. An excellent second over for him.
A single to round off what could have been a wicket maiden. 3 overs gone, 13 for 1.
I just called his name. He's in the center of your screen. Amir Hamza Hotak is an important element in what happens next in this game. Just over the top at deep mid wicket, and it goes away for 4. I'll tell you what, that's not too far away from being a catch. Look where he drags us from, Abdullah Malek, from outside the line of off stump. And it is too far around for the fielder running back from long on to get there. Akash Sundaresan. Interesting. Now this one moves the other way. Goes for 4, but he's breaking out all of the varieties here. The previous delivery turned into the left-hander. This one goes away from the lefty. Look at this ball. Pitch here and actually leaves the lefty. Karen ball, if you will. But to me, it starts out too wide. So when it's that wide, you lose the advantage of the ball turning away from the lefty. So consecutive 4s to open over number 2, over 4. So 3 delivers here into over number 4.
Cut straight to the fielder. Try and get that scorecard updated. We're 2 boundaries in the over. One final delivery to come. Into the leg side and a single to round off the 4th over. It's 21 for 1.
Okay, so the Gremlins have gone out of the scoring program. 23 for 1 is the score after 4. Amir Hamza Hotak, I thought, bowled a good over in terms of his variety, but he'll want to not be as expensive as he was in that over. Change in the bowling now is going to be Amir Hamza. Nope, sorry, my apologies. It's going to be more pace. It's going to be we're in number 5. Number 5 does not appear on our sheet, so we'll find out with the rest of you when we discover who this bowler is. But in the event, pace, right arm, quick, Yusuf Zazai. And so Yusuf Zazai Right arm pace bowling from the forest end, northern end of the ground. Simon Kamal on strike. Oh. Oh my.
Top shot. Up and over through the offside. Makes it look quite effortless, doesn't he, Simon Kamala?
Well, we talked about the fact that in the first innings, the Atlanta Fire were too straight at the bodies of the batters. Well, here, this is the opposite of that. This is well too wide to threaten anything, and it presents Syed Mukamal with the opportunity to open his shoulders and go big over the offside. Have to be straighter than that. That line will be a lot better. And that's exactly what they're going to need to establish is that consistency. So, yes, I don't believe that in any way a score of 160 is unattainable. But you'll help them to score if you're going to bowl that loosely. So it's going to be incumbent on you as a bowling side, the Bay Blazers, to find a much better line. Make them have to work for the runs that they get. And anything that is too easy essentially takes the pressure off of them. And they can play freely when they come in.
Off the hips and in no man's land. They will get a couple runs here.
Take a look at this again to see where the line was relative to where it needs to be. Because again, for me, the line to the lefty needs to be outside the line of off stump, bowling from over the wicket. And the fact that it was worked as easily off the hips to me suggests that it was a little too straight. It's a little better. Just worked into the leg side. So the way that you're starting out here is going to be a little bit tricky. They've not really been able to build any pressure yet. 33 runs on the board. Make that 2 balls remaining over number 5. So the required rate still around 8.3. In order for you to challenge in this match, the Bay Blazers, you're going to have to somehow figure a way to start building some pressure. Because the Atlanta Fire bats really well. They bat very deep. Pressure is what you need, and you need to start delivering some dot balls.
It's a pretty calculated start, though, isn't this? They've lost the 1 wicket, Atlanta Fire, but they haven't been too carried away. They're trying to get about 1 boundary and over and still be able to rotate the strike. 126 needed from 91. And in context of T20 cricket, that's very gettable. Especially with the likes of Saiteja Makamal out in the middle.
How do you close the over? How well do you finish this off without scoring opportunities? It's a much, much better ball. So it closes the over, in my mind, much better than he starts it here, Yusuf Zazai. End of over number 5. 5 in the books, 35 for 1.
Ahmedzai comes in for his first over. One bounce to the fielder at third.
I don't think, Monala Patel, that you're going to restrict the Atlanta Fire to say 154.6. They either overhaul the total or they get bowled out.
Yeah, the wickets is the name of the game if the Bay Blazers want to try and save this game.
So then the next question to be asked is, where are the wickets going to come from? What is the field setting, the setup that makes you think that they can get wickets? Now, that is a lovely, lovely shot by Simon Kamala.
And that's the difficult part, isn't it? Because they're trying to get at least one boundary every over. And they've actually not played anything rational. Mm-hmm. Irrational is the word I'm looking for.
I knew what you meant.
They're not looking... They've not played anything irrational. They've all these boundaries have come from proper shots, safe shots. Mm-hmm. So you almost have to tempt them. Just looking at a post by the International Cricket Council, and they've posted about the highest average in the Cricket World Cup League 2, and there are 2 Americans in that list. Mm-hmm. I know we've spoken about the amount of depth there is in cricket here in the US, as this is going to run away for 4 more. That's what I mean. Prime example, just using the pace of the ball, just opening the face, and as easy as you like, back-to-back boundaries.
And that's not a bad ball. That is on the 4th stump line from over the wicket from the left-hander. So that is just expert batting, just opening the face, running it down the hill for 4.
And just looking at that list of highest averages in Cricket World Cup League 2 between 2023 and 2027, Milind Kumar is number 1 on that list. Mm-hmm. Average of 67.73. George Manzi is number 2, 58.27. Saiteja Mukamala is number 3 with a batting average of 54.62. Extra bounce on that one, pulling that length back. Ahmedzai. Number 4, Richie Barrington, another Scotsman. Mm-hmm. And it just goes to show when you've got 2 Americans on that list, it sums up how well USA Cricket is doing on the global stage. Currently sitting number 1 on that Cricket World Cup League 2 chart as well.
Everything that you just said is very accurate.
Rushed, and it's a swing and a miss.
Good short delivery. Sometimes the average statistic in cricket can be misleading. But Simon Kamala is a top order batter. So if his average is that high, it means that he's scoring that heavily. What I mean by that, of course, the way you calculate average is the total number of runs divided by the number of times you've been out. So if you have a batter who bats towards the back end of the innings, usually coming in 7, 8 or so, you can have a very high average but a very low aggregate because you don't get out much. But Simon Kamala, his average is reflective of what you can expect to get from him. Good last couple of deliveries here in this over, though. Good pace from those 2 deliveries. Faisal Ahmedzai. End of over number 6. Power play is done, dusted. 44 for 1. Yes, sir. Yep.
Mandasa Khan back in for his third over. Got the only breakthrough so far. 9 for 1. His bowling figures. Has had a better time out in the middle today. A lot more control of his bowling.
So as the sun comes beaming into our location here at the commentary booth,
Sorry, which sun?
I am reminded of the fact that a certain young lady just told me that it's supposed to be raining right now. Let's just say I disagreed vehemently with that, and I think I was proven right.
I just don't know what sun you're talking about beaming in here. It's overcast into the leg side and a few bounces to the fielder. I'm wondering if we can get a shot of these clouds. Could someone please give us a wide angle of where we're at right now?
Because you're standing, the sun is not shining on you. It was for about 10 seconds just now shining on us. It will be coming again in about the next 30 seconds. And I will take your apology then.
Barbara, you've got to get us a wide angle shot here. We could get us a beauty shot and we'll be able to show those clouds.
Oh, what do you know? Those big gray clouds up above are moving to the northwest, and the sun will be revealed sometime in the next 45 seconds to a minute.
Quick single.
Tell you, a clean pickup there would have been interesting. Now, I will say this. This feels like the Atlanta Fire playing within themselves and sort of biding their time. Just one wicket down. Partnership they're building now worth 34 after 34 after that single. And even though at the equivalent stage the Bay Blazers had 70 runs on the board, just 46 for the Atlanta Fire. But it does feel like the Atlanta Fire have more control over the proceedings. And tell me, Manala Patel, if you don't see that sun right there.
The one hiding behind the clouds.
The one that is currently shining directly in my face.
Oh, that struck him. That has struck him right in that midriff.
That walk back to his mark has a little bit more of a strut. His shirt collar is popped up just a little bit because that is what a fast bowler does.
Well, I said midriff, and looking at him now, I'm thinking it's a little bit lower than midriff.
No, because he's up.
Oh, you would know.
Yes, I would. No worse pain in cricket than being struck in the middle stump. Anyway, so back to this. 2 balls remaining in this over. Look at this. He's doing what you wanted him to do, running down the track at the fast bowler. I've always maintained that that's a bad idea. This time it doesn't hurt him. It's a dot ball. Let's see whether or not the last ball, what type of response does Ghulam Madasa have? Because that last ball was adjudged to have been a bouncer. In other words, the one that you're allowed in the over. So he can't bowl another bouncer. So let's see exactly what his response is. Something quick and straight, maybe. Goes pace off. That's a good delivery. What an excellent over that one is from Ghulam Madasa. Just 2 runs coming from it. End of over number 7. Score is 46 for 1. 6.57 is your current run rate. Required run rate, 8.77. But with 9 wickets in hand, I don't think the Atlanta Fire will feel very bothered. My sense is that with all the batting to come, they will feel that they have the upper hand in this game as of right now. It's probably their game to lose from their standpoint. And frankly, if you were to ask me my win predictor, I'd probably think in favor of the Atlanta Fire as well. But you still have to get there. Vikash Mohan, the man from Trinidad, will be looking to see whether or not he can break this partnership that is now worth 34.
All right, arm off spin, tossed up delivery. And just a single. Not the greatest communication out there.
A good throw, too. I'll tell you why that's a good throw, because it's a left-hander running to his right, picking up and then angling his body in such a way as to get that throw in as that strong sun comes beaming into the commentary area. Manali Patel. Do you disagree with me?
Yeah, I really need that beauty shot. Picked up a long way. It's going to go for 6 runs in the arc and out of the park.
Abdulhad Malek is looking dangerous. Now up to 22 from 17. That's 6, bringing up to 50. And that's why I said earlier, I don't get the sense that they're in any way bothered by the fact that they are not at the same pace that was set by the Bay Blazers, because of a number of reasons. The first being the fact that the Bay Blazers slowed down as much as they did in the second half of their innings. Yes, they got some momentum at the back end of the innings, but I think on balance, you like where you are now as the Atlanta Fire as compared to the Bay Blazers.
You were talking about that required run rate a little bit earlier. Absolutely too early to really be concerned about it, especially when you're going at the rate that you are. You've got all your wickets, well, -1 in hand.
Right.
And a really good partnership starting to form here. Pressure is still on the Bay Blazers at the moment because they just haven't been able to get a breakthrough since that early one at 12 for 1. Extra bounce. Whacked down the ground, and a single to close the over. 8 overs gone. It's 56 for 1.
Atlanta Fire, star-studded Atlanta Fire, one of the favorites.
But that one is smack.
Oh, this one is lobbed into the onside. A slow, short ball.
And 4 runs needed from 72 deliveries. Cruising along here. Atlanta Fire.
56 for 1. Abdullah Malek, as this is skied into the air down the leg side. In fact, it goes down to deep backward square for a single. Brian Walters here, and I am happy to be joined as the great Manali Patel takes a little bit of a break. Person now seated to my immediate right, maybe not quite as cute as Manali Patel, but no less a cricket maven, Vishwas Iyengar. Good afternoon, sir.
Hey, Brian. Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. Jury's still out. Who's cuter? But we'll talk about that some other time after the cricket.
So this game that we're watching here, Vishwas, Atlanta Fire Bay Blazers, the team that wins this gets to the semifinals tomorrow. Relatively evenly poised, but maybe I would think Atlanta has their head just ahead right now. My sense, in fact, I just told you what I thought. You tell me, given the score and the teams, what are your thoughts on the game so far?
Look, this is where you want to be, right? To win, to get into the next round, evenly poised. Just, shooting off the hip here, right? 8 overs, 50 for 1. They need 70 of 100. To me, the thing that pips it just to the fire, and that's the boundary. A short ball on leg stump, swept to third man. Actually, that's just 1 run. Sorry. I think the wickets in hand, I'm going to give it to maybe the Fire here.
Atlanta Fire, very strong batting unit. Exactly 100 more runs needed. 60 for 1. And now, for me, what is important is that not only is it the fact that the two who are at the wickets, Saimo Kamala and Abdullah Malek, each with 26, both striking it at more than a run a ball. But there's so much batting still to come. Sky, this is going to be catchable. Who wants it? A long run, and he puts it down. The fielder running in from long on. I think he gets there in time, but just does not secure it. Not the easiest catch to take, but in a game of this magnitude, you kind of have to take that, don't you?
It was. It looked easier than it was, to be honest. It was hit against the wind. The fielder, if anything, overran it a little bit. Had to put the brakes on. Got there, and as he fell, the ball came out of his hands. This could be a crucial wicket here, Brian.
Well, I'll tell you what, he gets there, and to me, that really just does need to be secured. I think you're exactly right. It's not an easy catch. But having gotten there and given the stakes, you really would want for that to have been taken. So as it relates to the current situation, that is the end of the over. 62 for 1 after 9. After 9, 98 runs needed to be scored in the next 66 balls. That's not exactly difficult from modern cricket standpoint.
T10, T20 has definitely changed significantly, hasn't it? This score looks trivial with the wickets in hand. But I tell you what, now the spinners, this next few overs where the spinners come in and on a track that is continuously getting slower, it's not going to be easy. But wickets in hand for sure is what we've continuously talk about here, with depth of batting to come as well.
So a single off that last ball means that you are now exactly in the throes of a 50-run partnership. Abdullah Malek, 27 from 22. Saimo Kamala, 27 from 24. And so you've gone back to the pace of Faisal Ahmadzai. I thought he looked really good when he bowled earlier, but you just talked about the spinners. You are captain right now, and you're looking to restrict that side from needing to score 9 runs and over. Do you prefer pace or spin, and why?
I honestly prefer going with the spinners right now. Slow things down, right? Mm-hmm. And of course, it's the smart way to use your pacer as well would be to make sure that they are, bowling with the wind, so that they can have some zip on this track, which to me feels like it's been slowing down every day, even though I'm sure they watered it overnight. So pace off is what I would say. But telling that to a fast bowler, you must be choking right now.
The thing is, when playing cricket is in the rearview mirror, you get to see the game more objectively. And I think I agree completely with what you just said.
Isn't that funny? Two fast bowlers sitting here saying, pace off, pace off. Two people who actually opened the bowling together for a while.
We did. We absolutely did. Now, I will say this. If I am the Atlanta Fire, I think I have this game under control. I have 9 wickets in hand. I have big name players who are still in the pavilion. I have Stephen Taylor, long-time USA player. You have Obus Pinar. Shadley Van Skokvik can hit the ball a mile if he needs to. Zishan Maksud is a former UAE captain. Paul Palmer can hit a good long ball. So there's plenty of batting resources. I think I'm where I want to be. If I am the Bay Blazers, I need wickets. So then my next question to you is, where do I get wickets from?
Look, exactly what's going on right now. So you've seen 2 really good balls just push for singles. Singles is not going to cut it as we know it, right? So just dot balls, short of a length, 1 bouncer for the over. Really good ball. Looked a little high to me, but the benefit went to the bowler there. That's another dot ball. So we've got 2 of 3 with a run rate that's closer to about 10 right now that's required. This is how you buy a wicket. Induce a big shot right here.
So dot ball builds pressure, pressure takes wickets. I think that's a pretty succinct characterization of the challenge. But if you're not building the dot balls, then that doesn't work. And this is going to be tight. Tell you what, that's not far off.
Overthrows. It's not going to be costly.
They didn't actually go for another run there, so that certainly helps them. But if you're not able to build those dot balls, then you don't get the pressure building, and all of a sudden you're at the 10 over mark, which is almost where you are right now. And just with 2 balls remaining, you're still looking to see where are you going to get the wickets from.
I tell you what, that would have been a close call for a run out had they hit the stumps. Really sharp work there by the mid-on fielder.
Well, we'll continue watching that to see how. The funny thing is, we've been following along with the YouTube comments all day, which has its ups and downs.
Yeah? What do we have? Take one. Let's take one.
Well, the comments in this game are almost all in a language that I don't speak, so I can't speak much to it. But the consensus in the game this morning was halfway between people wanting me to laugh more and people wanting Manala's Instagram handle.
Oh, here we go. So very different needs. As somebody who's been hearing you live this week, I would say those are 2 very accurate comments. I have enjoyed hearing you laugh. I mean, look, cricket is a serious game, right? It's once you're in the field, it's a serious game. Sitting back here, enjoying the cricket and having a laugh about it is definitely a good mindset to be in.
I could not agree more.
Last ball of the over, fielders being set very precisely. Another dot ball. What an over.
Excellent over. Just 4 runs coming from it. Faisal Ahmedzai with a really, really good spell so far. Still has 2 overs in the kitty. Halfway through the innings, 66 for 1, 94 needed in the last 10. So going into the last 10 overs, this partnership between Simon Kamala and Abdullah Hadmalek is worth 54 and counting. Bowling resources are plenty, but for me, where are wickets going to come from is the question.
Knife's edge. This is what I think of this game right now. It's literally on a knife's edge. Something has to give. Mm-hmm. I think both teams are just waiting for something to happen. Short ball on the leg stump. Sai Teja goes on the back foot. Gentle pull to the deep for an easy single.
Well, if you look at the partnership is more than established. You've gotten the feel of the pitch. You've been there long enough. 55 runs is what you all have added, and just one wicket down. And I guess the closer you get to the end with only one wicket down, the more things get difficult for the batting, make that the bowling side, because then the other batters who come in can feel free to play with whatever aplomb they like to. The other thing to consider is that this is essentially a quarterfinal match. And as a quarterfinal match, the pressure is going to be more pronounced on the team that feels that they're about to lose. So a whole lot to play for, and nerves of steel are what are needed here.
One thing I'll add here is in this partnership, one of them has to get going now, right? They have wickets in hand. Like you said, they're both set, understand the pace of the game. There's no such thing as sheet anchoring, we know, in T20, but it's more so, hey, all right, are you seeing it a little better than I am?
Who's going to go?
Then have a go.
Mm-hmm. I think either one of these batters is able to play that role. Down the ground, catchable, and taken. Well, that breaks the partnership. Akash Sundaresan makes the simple catch, the second catch that he's taken in the innings, and that breaks the partnership. Now, did you need to break the partnership in order to win? I think the answer is yes. But maybe this becomes a situation in the game where another batter who comes in who has a little bit more freedom can start hitting out. But tell me what you think about this.
Short ball. Hamza goes on the back foot, tries to pull it over mid-wicket, just gets it too straight, caught on the long-on boundary. An easy catch, Rivers cupped it. Look, to me, that's the right shot to play. The bowler was smart, flat, on the off stump, and didn't give him much room to go and try to get back and rock it and get it over those fielders for a 6.
So it is 2 USA players, one current, one former. Stephen Taylor. You saw him in the field earlier. You saw him with the ball. He's now going to be asked to do it with the bat. And Stephen Taylor has scored hundreds and hundreds of runs for the U.S. over the years, a very long playing career. Don't know that his team needs him to score very heavily here, but I think it's incumbent on him because he has had a tough go of it in the last several matches. Hasn't really scored as heavily as he would have liked. And more to the point, when you're the captain, you want to lead from the front with the bat. So let's see whether or not Stephen Taylor himself can be who his team needs for him to be. Don't know that his team is in trouble. 9.75 and over is not necessarily very difficult. But wickets falling almost always creates some trepidation in the side. Stephen Taylor faces first ball.
Short, down the leg side, sweeps it. Very fine, excellent work by the person at deep fine leg to keep it to a single, and gets Stephen Taylor off the mark.
Well, now Simon Kamala is the one who's going to have to...
Brian, I really think the big man may have saved him his best for this game to get his team across the line. So let's hope that this is the game he comes through.
Off the back foot. You cannot bowl that length. Sai Mukamala will do exactly what he just did, rocking onto the back foot, aiming that huge shot over the top of long on for a gigantic 6.
That went miles. Just the speed with which he was able to rock to the back foot and just help that ball all the way was excellent timing.
Great timing. And so that closes out over number 11. And looking at where you are now, yes, you've just taken a wicket. But my goodness, if you don't start getting to figure out a way to not bowl any hit-me balls, and this, for me, is a hit-me ball, then this game is not going to last much longer. They're very strong, power-packed batting lineup, and just 84 needed now from the last 54 balls.
It's a brutal game, T20 is. Let's just walk through that over, yeah? Vedant bowls 3 dots, gets a well-earned wicket, a dot, and cannot finish it off well and gets hit for a 6. And suddenly, that looks like what should have been a 4-run over looks like a 10-run over with a well-earned wicket.
Well, there's nothing wrong with a 10-run over that takes a wicket. If you do that 8 more times, you will win this game. But the issue there is you can't concede the 10 runs and then not take the wicket. And so often in this innings or this match, you've had bowlers be loose with their lines, with their lengths, and not quite getting to the point where they're building any sort of pressure. There's not much consistency. And so, in my mind, you're going to see for the next several overs, 2 or 3 of them, in fact, Faisal Ahmadzai back into the attack. It is going to be incumbent on him and the other bowlers to see what they can do to build some pressure. So Vishwas, you're the captain. What are you telling your bowler here? 77 on the board, 83 needed from the next 53 balls.
Very similar to what you just shared there, Brian. Just try to cut out that boundary ball. 1s and 2s are not going to lose you the game here. It's those boundaries. As long as, you have a plan, you have set ball to your field, I think they'll be okay here.
Faisal Ahmadzai is bowling well.
Bowler and keeper taking the required time to set their field precisely to the plans that they have.
Now, having said that, Manali and I have been talking about the over rates. Over rates generally have been much slower than you'd like for them to be. And in fact, I think I see umpire Ravi Kanani tapping his wrist, saying to the fielding side, it is time. Let's just get this game going.
This particular instance has been unusually longer.
Mm-hmm.
Short ball down the leg side just helps it along to final leg for an easy single.
Well,
it's almost like it surprised him. That ball wasn't the best of the balls down the leg side, and it was like Saiteja wasn't fully in position to put that away for a boundary. May have missed out on that one.
The other aspect of that is that he's a left-hander. I love left-handed fast bowlers. Bowling over the wicket, bowling over the wicket to a right-handed batter, and that's almost always a tricky angle. Look at Stephen Taylor. Well, that gives you the some sense of the concept of brutal hitting that is into his body, and he dispatches it over square leg for 6.
What a shot. Short, just sat up there, and he was in position to just massacre that ball over mid-wicket.
Oh, that is stylish. That is absolutely stylish. I said square leg. I think you're right. That went more to mid-wicket, which is more a measure of how quickly he was onto the length. Absolutely pulling that well in front of square. And Stephen Taylor has announced himself. I don't want to jinx him because he's been short of runs, but that shot looks like he has come to the party like he suggested.
Brian, that's what the boundary does now, right? So you've got single, single, and a 6. Now the bowler is under pressure to finish the next 3 balls, and the batter can actually say, I got my boundary off the over. I can be a little bit more selective.
Scoop shots. How did Stephen Taylor play that shot? I have seen Stephen Taylor play cricket for probably 15 years. I do not think that I've ever seen him play that. In fact, he did not play it. It was a bye, I think, is being signaled. Well, let's take a look at this. No, he played the shot. So it went for 4. Not sure exactly what umpire Ravikant is signaling here. Possibly running down the track a warning. And I think that's what he's being clarified right now.
It is a warning. Stephen did walk across quite a bit and then continued walking across the danger area. But I don't think it was intentional. The shot made his follow through just get into that area. A beautiful shot.
It's a lovely shot. I don't know if we have the time to go back and look at that after this over, but I'd want to see exactly what umpire Ravikanani was complaining, or what his issue was. And maybe after the over we'll take a look at that. But Stephen Taylor does walk across, but I don't think he walks across into the danger area. The danger area is about a yard and a half in front of the crease, so he did not come that far in front. Let's see what happens here.
The wind, the bails.
I'm surprised they put the bails back on, because they were playing for the majority of, in fact, all of the second innings in the first game, they played without bails for the reason that they just had to stop because the wind is so strong. Let's see what happens here. That is well bowled. Slower delivery. Stephen Taylor playing just a second too early. So you close the over with a couple of dots. That is a good close to the over, but the middle part of this over is where the issue was. 12 runs coming from the over. At the end of 12, 88 for 2. Idiot for 2. 72 needed in the last 48 balls.
The leg spinner continues. Vedant Jain.
Vedant Jain, 2 overs, 1 for 16.
Got that crucial breakthrough in his previous over. I'm sure he wants a repeat of it here. Vedant bowling to Sai Teja. First ball of the over.
Off the back foot yet again. You cannot bowl that length to Sai Mukamala. And you see the reaction from Fantasy Madrid, who is off the field, but I think he has the same reaction that I just did. That length will go for runs.
A carbon copy of the ball, last ball of the previous over. Short, just sat up, and Sai Teja did what he did before, just rock back, dispatch it for a big 6.
That length is one that will get you in trouble. To most good batters, and Sai Teja Mukamala absolutely is that.
So, a friend from England who plays for Surrey recently told me in T20, there's 2 most important bowls in an over. The first one and the last one.
Fair enough.
The first one has gone the batter's way here for a 6. He has an uphill task now with the next 5 balls. Short ball, just rocks on the back foot, works an easy single down to long on.
Now, in the context of this game, and that required rate continues to come down as this partnership now starting to build a little bit. In the context of this game, a partnership now worth 26 on the back of another partnership that went for 57. So you're starting to develop some momentum. Stephen Taylor powering this one into the deep. Should just be a single though. But overall, things are starting to develop in the way that you'd like for them to be. So who is now feeling pressure? Bearing in mind that the team that loses this is done for the tournament.
I reckon it's the bowling team. We've had a couple of 3 sixes in the last 3 overs, a couple of boundaries. Things are just going the batter's way. Short, spinning away from the batter, just gets a bottom edge. An easy single to short third man. That's the luxury of that first ball, right, Brian? Now they can just ease their way for singles and get those, get that required run rate down to below into a manageable place.
Stephen Taylor doesn't use his feet to the spinners very often, and that probably gives you a sense why, because not really getting anywhere near the pitch, but luckily for him, he did just manage to get back and avert being stumped. Now,
wide ball.
Certainly signal as wide. Now, you certainly can be stumped off of a wide, and Stephen Taylor will know that. But for the most part, as it relates to this match, Stephen Taylor knows that this partnership that he's building with his partner, Simon Kamala, is an important one. Into the deep, in the gap, and 4. So that pressure is certainly released. 14 runs from the over already with 1 still to come. And it's that shot also that brings up the 100. 102 for 2. Partnership worth 33. And I'll tell you, to whatever extent you thought that you were trying to avert a bit of a difficult situation, much of that pressure has already been released. And all of a sudden now, with 1 ball remaining, Stephen Taylor knows that his team really is in the driver's seat here. So needing to score at the rate of 8.09 and over. When this innings started, the required rate was exactly 8. The required rate went up to as much as 9.5 a few overs ago, but now it's on the way back down as it becomes more manageable. Stephen Taylor on the sweep. Good stop in the deep, but 15 runs come from over number 13. It's a big one, and one of the better overs that you've had. It feels like the Atlanta Fire pushing on toward a straightforward victory here. End of over number 13, 103 for 2. So now going into the last 7 overs of this innings, 57 needed in the last 7. The Bay Blazers need wickets, absolutely need wickets. And in some ways, they need to figure out how they're going to not only break this partnership, but then fend off the tremendous depth of the Atlanta Fire batting lineup. 103 for 2. Stephen Taylor, 18 from 9. Simon Kamala, 46 from 33. Vishwas Iyengar has taken a well-deserved rest, and the person who looks like she would prefer to still be outside walking around is back in the pavilion, back in the commentary booth.
That's a bit rude to say, Brian.
Manali Patel. I'm only saying you're outside enjoying the warm Texas weather is what I meant.
I was actually. It's quite nice and warm. The breeze, though, the breeze is so strong.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it took the clouds away, for sure.
Oh, and he's just reminding us that it's taken those ominous clouds away. The ones that Brian Walters said would not rain.
Very much told you. Amir Hamza Hotak back into the attack. Cut away. It's in the gap and it will get to the boundary, I believe. No, it is pulled back. That is a great piece of work by Ghulam Madassar. I tell you what, that's good running also. They ran 3 on that. That is really good cricket all the way around. Good work to save that one run, but good running between the wickets by Stephen Taylor and Sai Mukamala.
Good partnership as well. Looking at those required run rates, current run rate is now above that required run rate. They've done well to pace this innings, Atlanta Fire.
It's very easy now. Just doing it in singles if they need to. Maybe not all the way in singles, but it's certainly a much easier lift from here. 53 runs needed, 40 balls remaining. That is an equation that's certainly in favor of the batting side, particularly with 8 wickets in hand.
That is a very optimistic shout, considering it's completely outside of the line of the stumps. And I don't mean marginally, completely.
Like a whole other set of stumps.
Yes.
Interesting. That was also the Karen ball, the one that went the other way, away from the left-hander. So he's breaking out all the tricks here, Stephen Taylor, make that Amir Hamza Hotak. This is his penultimate over. Stephen Taylor drills this one, and it goes all the way for 6.
More impressed by him just standing there after he's hit it. Stand and deliver. Take a look at this. Yep, not moving. Let me just watch it. I'm going to watch it sail all the way for 6.
But very frankly, I don't like the way that shot looks because he's a left-hander.
I never said left-handers cannot look good while batting. All I said was it's, just, meh. Bit frustrated with himself. Stephen Taylor looking to get runs off of that. But it's going to be a dot instead. A decent over for Atlanta Fire comes to an end. 14 overs gone. It's 113 for 2.
You saw the celebration?
47 off 34. Saiteja Mukamala. It's been an outstanding innings so far. And his side will want to see him finish this game. Job's not done yet.
There's no question that the last several overs have gone the way of the Atlanta Fire, but as you say, the job is not done yet. A couple of quick wickets here, and it makes a big difference as to the outcome of this game. So they've gone back here now to Yusuf Zazai. And Yusuf Zazai, who's only bowled 1 over so far that went for 12 runs, will be breathing fire. He will want to break this partnership.
Oh, that's harsh. I'm not so sure that was a wide. Looked
Well,
like it was just inside that line.
You're not the only one who thinks that that was harsh. The bowler himself, Yusuf Zazai, with both hands on his hips. I wonder if we can get another look at that. He's asking for a short ball. That ball probably was stomach height.
You just can't please anyone, can you?
Under no circumstances, in no world would that be considered a wide or one for the over. But you may have an argument with the line of that ball. Oh, put down. Put down. Simon Mukamala going for glory. Wanted to get to the 15 style, but he is dropped at short cover by Amir Hamza Hotak.
And I think he might have just dropped the game with that as well. Should have been taken. It was the wicket of Saiteja Mukamala. Big wicket in a very important time in the game. He just took it a little too lightly there.
It's not easy. It's not an easy catch. It was struck very firmly. But Amir Hamza Hotak... Why are you looking at me like... Amir Hamza Hotak will want to have taken that. Now, I wouldn't go as far as to say that he dropped the game because there's plenty of batting to come, but he certainly would have wanted to have taken that. Slow ball into the pitch. Stephen Taylor comes up empty on his attempted swing.
What do you make of Yusuf Zazai's headband?
So you've switched from asking about hair to asking about headbands?
No, I mean, it's believe it or not, it's so windy out there. It's obviously keeping the hair out of his eyes.
Sure.
Just curious, your thoughts on the headband?
Oh, it
You
serves
don't have to be so bitter just because you don't have hair.
It serves a purpose. Oh, that's a good sharp delivery. Given as wide because of height. So it will be wide +1 for the over.
I am surprised with this because Stephen Taylor had to move his head out of the way for it. So how this has been given a wide...
This is a harsh call. I will say this is a harsh call. Hopefully we'll be able to see a replay. Take a look at this again. This is, to me, a good short ball. And obviously it's the umpire, square leg umpire, Ravi Kanani, who believes that this is going to be wide. To me, this is a harsh call.
I'm glad we agree on something.
Well, we agree that we're all going to dinner at that same restaurant again.
Yes.
So that makes two things.
I could use dinner.
Short in the air. Is it taken? It is taken. Celebrations galore. The question to be asked here, Manala Patel, the previous delivery was given as 1 for the over. Would that not have been the second short ball in the over?
This I like. Umpire going up and saying, hang on, please watch the attitude, because that was awful. Giving the send-off to Stephen Taylor after he took that catch. Attitude is very important in a sport. You cannot be behaving that way. Yes, up in the air, run in quite a distance to take this catch. But all of this after that, unnecessary.
I agree completely with everything that you just said. The one thing I'll also add is that there has to be serious consideration for that having been the second short ball in the over, in which case it should have been a no ball. So there is certainly Stephen Taylor, in theory, should be facing a free hit right now. Maybe it would have been Simon Kamala since they would have crossed. But that's a conversation for another day. That's the end of the captain. 116 on the board. The new batter coming to the crease. Zishan Maksud. One lefty former captain replacing another lefty former captain. So 116. 44 needed from 33. Look at this. Manala Patel. Required rate at the start of the innings, 8. Current run rate, 8. Required rate, 8. That's not hard to do after 1 over where you score 8 runs. When you are 3 deliveries into over number 15 and those numbers line up like that again, I need to go buy a lottery ticket tonight.
No comments whatsoever on that. However, having lost 3 wickets now, Atlanta Fire, they will still feel like they're in the driving seat here, especially because they've still got Saiteja Mukamala out there. And we know that Zishan Maksud can also anchor an innings quite comfortably with the bat. He's also got the ability to hit the long ball. And they need just 8 runs and over, as you've mentioned. 44 of 33. That's an optimistic shout. Oh, maybe not. Finger goes up. That looked like it was going down leg and a bit too high, in my opinion. But he is on a hat trick here. Yusuf Zazai. And a short stay out in the middle for Zishan Maksud.
Umpire Myron James thinking about it for a few seconds and then raising the finger from around the wicket, slanting in. That is very close to me. That is hitting the top of leg stump. I would have to say that that's hitting the top of leg stump. Really good decision from umpire Myron James. And I will tell you, as you said a couple of overs ago, the job is not done yet. All of a sudden, Obaspinar coming in to bat with the added pressure of needing to avert a hat trick. This game is not finished by a long stretch, and things can happen very quickly. Imagine with me for a second, hat trick here. Simon Kamal is still at the other end. Now you're into the lower middle order. All of a sudden you grip the bat a little bit tighter. Anything can happen from here.
I really want another look at that LBW shout. Because I'm still thinking that would have gone down leg, and I think height for me is still a big question mark. Especially the angle at which it was going across.
Hat-trick ball.
Have we seen a hat trick in the tournament yet? Yes, one yesterday.
Of course, you all would have waited till I left to get the hat trick.
Lenny and I were actually not covering that game. We were covering the other game. A little full toss, punch down the ground, and past the fielder. Oh, it's rolling. Off the mark, Obaspinar.
If you're looking for a hat trick, and I know you're going for the glory ball, but if it's a full toss that is at the height of the batter's pad, that doesn't really cause a lot of concern, does it? So 2 runs down the ground. That relieves a little bit of the pressure. Still has 1 ball to go here in this over, though. But a decent over nonetheless so far. 5 coming from it. And with 1 ball remaining, you're going to look to see. Here, we'll take a look at that. Maybe after the over, we'll look at the replay on that LBW shot again. You know that you and I watch the games differently. You watch it on the screen. I watch it square over the wicket here live. It did not look high to me at all. Short delivery. Obaspinar ducks underneath it. Goes away as a dot. So that is the end of the over. 5 coming from the over. 2 wickets taken. 118 for 4 after 15. Amir Hamza Hotak, his last over with all his wiles. Simon Kamala, 48 from 35. Something has to give.
calculated. Worked into the leg side, pick up an easy single. You don't want to leave too much to the end, so I agree with you there, but I also don't think they need to be in any sort of panic mode here. Atlanta Fire got two batters out of the middle, two proper bats out of the middle.
You can do a lot worse in pressure situations than having Obaspinar and Simon Kamala at the crease.
Worked around the legs this time. Obas Pinar will also pick up a single.
If you're Simon Kamala, you're probably aware that you're on 49 because, you know. By the way, I'll ask you, when you batted, did you keep track of your score? Or did you just, somebody tells you, oh, you have 50? How does that work?
Yeah, no, never kept track of my score. Upish in the leg side and safe enough for Sai Mukamala to pick up his half century. 50 off 37 deliveries. It's been a good knock from the young man.
Not even as much as a bat raise, which I love to see. To me, that says I'm dialed in. The job is not done. Forget about the personal milestone that I just reached. I need to take my team home. Can never forget I was watching a team play, an international team, a test playing team. I won't say which. Cut away. And that's a lovely looking shot. Couple more. Anyway, one of the middle order batters on this team, his team is in trouble. He gets to 50. 50. It was a test match, no less. Takes off the helmet and raises the bat. And I am saying, you're taking off your helmet for having scored a 50 in a test match with the job not anywhere near being done. What are you doing? This to me says I'm locked in. Forget about the personal milestone. I have more work to do.
Very well bowled. And had that ball been picked up, it would have been a tight run. End of a decent over. 16 overs gone. It's 125 for 4.
Loads of experience in the form of Obaspinar at the non-striker's end. Loads of talent. Not as much experience, but he's a very young man. Simon Kamala, 53 from 39. And once again, facing down a relatively stiff target.
Not in a lot of control of the shot, but it's still going to go all the way. He would have had his heart in his mouth with that one. I think also helps to get some assistance with that wind. And if it wasn't for that wind, I think this would have been dicey.
It certainly would have been close. Yusuf Zazai into the attack, into his third over. And I will tell you that his heart certainly would have been in his mouth, but the wind just from the southeast carrying that one over the ropes. That is well bowled. That is very, very well bowled.
Yusuf Zai saying, what do I have to do?
Yeah.
2 deliveries, 2 chances.
Well, you're at the business end of this match.
See movement. And the dot won't be too bothered by these dots. Are sitting at 131 with 29 more runs to go.
29 from 21 in modern cricket is a pretty straightforward ask. But it is not going to be easy. You have the pressure of getting into the semifinals tomorrow morning in the back of your mind, or maybe the forefront of your mind. Yusuf Zazai wants to break this partnership, and he wants Sai Mukamala, the more set of the 2 batters at the crease.
Pulled away. And they'll be satisfied with the 1 run.
Over spinner. Run a ball 4. Partnership just getting started, worth 16. And a nice round 28 needed from 20 balls.
Oh, trying to give himself some room here, Obis Pinar. Just needs to be a bit more watchful. Yusuf Zai's bowled very well.
You're going into the last 3 overs after the next 2 balls. Who is going to bowl? Ghulam Madasar Khan, you think, would bowl 1. Yusuf Zai still has 1 more. Faisal Ahmed Zai has 1 more. So you would think that those are your bowlers the rest of the way. Tell you what, this is going to be a lot closer than you might expect.
Thick inside edge and a single to finish the over. 17 overs gone. It's 133 for 4.
Atlanta Fire. Star-studded Atlanta Fire. One of the favorites.
And indeed, but that one is smack.
Oh, this one is lobbed into the onside. A slow, short ball.
18th over to be bowled by Faisal Ahmed Zai. 3 overs, none for 25. But he's bowled with hostility and pace. You would think over number 19 would be bowled by Yusuf Zazai. And then maybe Ghulam Madasar Khan would bowl over number 20. That's what I would imagine. Can't see Vedant Jain, the spinner, being brought back into bowl here. Neither would I think Vikash Mohan, who is the other spinner. I think you go pace the rest of the way, and I think you go with those 3 bowlers that I just mentioned. This would be the point where we whistle the Jeopardy theme song.
Let's hear it. Wasn't there a guy who recently whistled the national anthem at one of the sports here?
I would not know.
Like he's a national whistling champion or something. Seriously.
There is a national whistling champion?
Apparently, yes.
Wow.
He did the entire American national anthem. Gosh, I think this was a baseball.
I will take your word for all of that. I don't know that to be true.
This is very disappointing to say, though. This has taken quite some time to get this field setting right. You can see the umpires saying, let's go, let's get on with it. Surely it shouldn't be taking this long.
Short ball, paddled around the corner for a single. The thing to look at here, Obespinar plays that shot and ends up behind the stumps. So he easily could have trod onto his stumps, and that would have been an interesting way of being dismissed.
The worst way.
Have you ever been dismissed like that?
No. Some of us know where our stumps are.
What is the worst way that you've ever been dismissed?
I was actually given out bowled off a ball that bounced twice. This was in the Cayman Islands quite a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Gives himself some room and goes offside, and this is sailed all the way for 6 runs. What a shot this is from Saiteja Mukamala.
How in the world did he hit this for 6? That is not a ball that is hit for 6 very often. Look at this. Gives himself the room. He hit that off of leg stump.
Form. When you're in form and you're full of confidence, you make batting look very easy.
20 from 16, an absolutely stunning shot from Sai Mukamala.
Smart bowling. Faisal Ahmedzai following Saiteja Mukamala. Saw him trying to give himself some room outside that off stump again.
Absolutely stunning. There is something special about this young man, Sai Mukamala. Job not done yet, though. And a wicket here could really set the cat amongst the pigeons. And you're going to tell me you've not heard that expression either, right?
I have. I've heard that one.
Okay, just checking.
Just not the elephant one. Ever. And I grew up in Africa. Straight, picked off the pads. It'll bring Obespinar back on strike. What was it again? The elephant one?
How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
We don't eat an elephant.
Oh my God. It doesn't mean that. You know what? Never mind. The idea is, okay, I'll put it to you this way. The longest journey begins with one step.
No. I understand the analogy behind
Right.
it. Don't get me wrong. It's just a weird thing to say.
Okay. How do you eat? You will love this. And this goes more to what I'm sure you will classify as American gluttony.
Let's hear it. Pulled away and very well fielded.
I am in Belton, Texas yesterday at the lunch hearing, or at the lunch break in the hearing that I was attending. The only place to find something to eat is Little Mama's Burgers. The burgers start with 1 pound of meat.
Wowza.
The
Wow.
larger burger is 1.5 pounds just of meat. We're not talking about all the other stuff.
You'd be 5 pounds heavier after that one meal.
So,
Thick outside edge. It's going to beat all the diving fielders as this races away for 4 runs.
that was a pacey delivery. Obespinar, Sai Mukamala late on. No, it wasn't Obespinar. My apologies. Got thrown off by the scorecard. The thick outside edge, and it races away for 4. Back to what I was saying. there are not very many choices for food in Belton, Texas, especially if you have to hurry and get back to court. And so I had to go to Little Mama's Burger. I had half of the burger for lunch and the other half for dinner, literally. I've never seen.
But
that
I'm
much
assuming
food.
people will finish that, right?
Absolutely.
One sitting.
One sitting. Sit right there and eat it. It was, I mean, you even when they hand you the food in the paper bag and you're like, this.
Always like
you could literally work out with it.
You sure there's no baby in this bag?
There's no baby in the bag. I ate the burger. Of course, there was a whole vat of fries that went along with it too. So there was not very many healthy eating options in Belton, Texas.
Reminds me of that other restaurant we went to on the first day. I got a plate full of soupy cheese on my enchilada, and I'm thinking, hang on, what is that? And weird cheese. Cheese isn't supposed to move that way. Maybe I'm just not used to American cheese. I don't know.
This is true.
It's a slower bouncer, and they'll settle for just the one run.
Well, this is the all-important penultimate over of the innings, isn't it? So this is being bowled by Yusuf Zazai. 2 for 26. So he has taken 2 of the 4 wickets to have fallen. And you need a wicket. You need also to have no more than about 6 or so runs come from this over. 5 would be excellent. Anything less than that is a bonus.
Very well bowled.
Great delivery.
Do you think we'll have enough daylight for a super over?
You absolutely would. Look where the sun is. The sun is...
I have not seen the sun all day. I don't know what you're talking about.
Because you're standing and you're missing all of it. The sun is right there. The sun may be, I would say that is 20 degrees above the horizon, which means, if need be, we could go for 3 super overs. Are you forgetting we played the last couple of days up until, or the first couple of days of the tournament up until about 7:30, 7:45? It's only 6:09 local time here. So if need be, we can play 2 or 3 super overs.
Big wide.
That will not help.
Well, it depends which team you're talking about.
If my default position is always to be
a bowler.
So that's the lens through which I see these games, and I'm thinking, okay, I have been given the ball on multiple occasions to bowl the penultimate over the innings, and how I would feel if I just bowled that wide would be very, very, let's just say I'd feel less than perfect.
Picked away in the gap, and yes, it is. It's going to go all the way, in fact, for 6 runs. Diving effort in the deep in vain, as Obas Pinar has latched onto this one.
Game-changing 2 delivers here. One that is a wide. You have to extra ball, extra run. And then the very next ball, Obas Pinar finds the rope at deep mid-wicket. That makes you breathe a lot more easily. If you are a member of the Atlanta Fire.
Oh, that's very well bowled. In the block hole. And they will scamper across for a single here. A couple of collisions as well.
I cannot see because of the brightness of the sun shining in my face. But in the meantime,
just give it about 5 seconds. It'll be gone again.
6 runs is all that separates the Atlanta Fire from a trip to the semifinals tomorrow morning. And this partnership, numbers-wise, doesn't sound like much, only worth 38 right now, but it has put them in the position of being able to have one hand on the victory in this game.
Down the ground. Clean as a whistle. And that's going to be another maximum. Saiteja Mukamala getting in the action there. And what a way to wrap up this game with a hole over and one delivery to spare. Atlanta Fire win this contest by 6 wickets.
In the slot. If you go in the slot to Sai Mukamala, who is having the day with the bat that he is, that result should not surprise you. The Atlanta Fire winning by the margin of 6 wickets. What an absolutely stunning strike. And coming toward the back end, Sai Mukamala ends up with 74 from 48, 3 fours, 6 sixes, a strike rate of 154. That scorecard tells the story. Rishi Pandey not really getting started, but the batters who came after him, Abdullah Had Malek, 30 from 28, Stephen Taylor, 27 from 16. Zishan Maksud did not contribute, but Obas Pinar making sure that he joined with Sai Mukamala in an unbeaten partnership of 44 to take victory.
Just didn't pick up enough wickets today. The Bay Blazers, after they struggled with the bat in the first innings. Gulmadasar Khan picking up a wicket along with Vedant Jain, and 2 wickets to Yusuf Zazai. Confirmation, 159 runs, bowled out off the last delivery, the Bay Blazers, and in reply, Atlanta Fire cruise home thanks to a really good 74 off 48 from Saiteja Mukamala. They win this contest by 6 wickets. Started with a flurry of runs thanks to Saiteja Mukamala. And we know that he's in form. We know that he is in control of most of his shots. Just saw the one early wicket.
Abdullah Had Malek came in and played well, played aggressively, and matched Sai Mukamala shot for a while in a partnership that lasted for 57 runs. And I'll tell you, to the extent that you had a target that you needed to go after, I think he played his part in making sure that you mixed caution with aggression and did what you needed to do. A couple of those deflections down to deep third by Sai Mukamala were really glorious. This is the end of Abdullah Had Malek. Pretty straightforward catch taken in the deep. But Sai Mukamala kept going, really motoring along, batting with confidence, batting with aggression when needed. Stephen Taylor, the captain, came in, played a few strokes. That one was interesting. I've never seen him play that shot before. A scoop shot down to fine leg. And then all in all, you saw the work from Sai Mukamala. You cannot bowl that length that you just saw to him. And once again, another short delivery. Stephen Taylor joining into the party as well. And anytime they dropped short or anytime they went too full, as that one from Amir Hamza Hotak, Stephen Taylor did what Stephen Taylor does. Skied in the air this time with a pretty straightforward catch taken. Umpires didn't like that little reaction, and then the very next ball traps the next incoming batter, LBW, but this pair together, even though he found the edge a couple of times, sounds like Obas Pinar and Stephen Taylor themselves my apologies, Sai Mukamala putting together an unbeaten partnership worth 44, and that takes you home. So tomorrow morning will be the semifinals. Once again, the semifinals and the final are all tomorrow. So I will tell you, if you are anywhere close to Prairie View, come down and watch some wonderful cricket, high level, here in the Houston Open 2026. If you're not physically able to be here in Prairie View, then join us right here on the Prairie View Cricket Complex channel, right here in Prairie View, Texas, and you will find the really exciting crescendo to this iconic tournament. Brian Walters signing off for the evening. For Manala Patel, for Vishwesa Yengar, for the production team, thank you for being with us. See you tomorrow.